my service automated, like data running through my veins. Got you distracted, subconscious overloaded. Careful, don't pull the cord on me. No time to stay around. Keep walking till you get out of my face. Regrets, restricted access. I'm just a flight to get up in your. We love is charging. I can't waste my time with someone slowing me down, 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 down. So high, I'm floating. I'm shining in my prime. Start rolling over 'cause you can't take my crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. My crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. Can't take my crown. Can't take my crown. Can't take my crown. Rewind my circuits, but you don't get that courage, 'cause you can handle my game. No, my drive's a puzzle. I got you so bumfuzzled, 'cause you can fall into my pain. No time to stay around. Keep walking till you get out of my face. Regrets, restricted access. I'm just a flight to get up in your. We love is charging. I can't waste my time with someone slowing me down, 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 down. So high, I'm floating. I'm shining in my prime. Start rolling over 'cause you can't take my crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. My crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. Can't take my crown. Can't take my crown. I won't waste my love on your heart. Sorry, 'cause I can't get what I want, and I don't need you. It's charging. I can't waste my time with someone slowing me down, 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 down. So high, I'm floating. I'm shining in my prime. Start rolling over 'cause you can't take my crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. My crown. I'll always be 10 feet off the ground. Can't take my crown. Can't take my crown. Can't take my crown.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Live from quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Vo, how are you? It's good to see you.
And
Corrupt?
Corrupt, hello.
Hey. What's up, guys? Hi, Mark.
Anyways, I started
Yippee.
blasting our end.
Corrupt, Vo. What's up, guys?
Oh, we got Benji in here. Hopefully he doesn't start barking.
Yeah.
It'll be very loud with this mic, so.
What mic are you using now?
The
20.
same one I have.
Oh, okay.
So it'll
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, well, how is everybody in the chat, first of all, doing? I hope well. We're still in quarantine. I hope everybody else is.
Hope
a
everyone's
win in
washing
Warzone.
hands.
Oh, Melly, you've been playing Call of Duty, right?
Yeah,
How
that's
is
right.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually.
here and there I've been playing some Warzone. I actually don't typically enjoy battle royale games, but I've been having fun playing with people. Haven't gotten to win
She was
yet.
up till like 4 a.m. one day.
I was. Well, I was just following TS's
Hey, Eric.
lead
Hi, Eric.
because it was whatever 7 o'clock. Well, I don't know what time it was in Finland, but he was
Yeah.
like, he just got his morning coffee, so I'm like, I'm gonna get some coffee. So I was downing coffee at 1 a.m. and then
Yeah. The amount of times that's happened to me where I'll be playing with TS and he'll be like, all right, I'm going to go make coffee. I'm like, oh, no.
She was like, Vove, get me a win, and never invited
I
me.
actually I haven't played since that night. I stayed up till 4 a.m. To be fair, though, I've been kind of
Because this is how addiction starts.
yeah.
Yeah, don't be like me on
Eric!
Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Well, that reminds me, Morgan.
I
And
know
we tend
he's
to go
gonna-
around and ask people what they're playing. What have you been playing? Animal Crossing.
I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. Let your Animal Crossing flag fly free.
Did you
Yeah,
even
okay.
get Persona Royale?
I'm actually going to be getting it on Friday. So I was actually kind of nervous about it. So I don't know if I've talked about it on here. So when it comes to, because I obviously everybody can see all my collector stuff and all my amiibos. Yeah, I obviously collect things. I like collector's editions, especially for the games that I like a whole lot. So I got the new Switch for Animal Crossing, and it's all pretty and awesome. And I don't have every special edition for Persona by any means. But I do have the little special edition for Persona 3. It's not like a big collector's edition or anything, but I have the one for Persona 5. And then I had the newest one on pre-order at a GameStop. I thought it would be better to do it like at a store, just because then I have money down on it. I don't got to worry about it. Well, now that everything's going on, I got pretty scared about it. I don't know when a lot of the GameStops are going to open back up again. So I just wanted to make sure that my collector's edition was in my hands. I'm not as worried about Final Fantasy just because it's just a regular little deluxe edition. But the reason why I get pretty nervous about the Persona ones is actually because the Persona 5 one, to put this in perspective, the Persona 5 one came with, they go by collector's box now. They say that's like a part of the collector's edition, I should say. But it comes with a school bag, which I actually used for some of my cosplays, a plushie of Morgana, a soundtrack, a steelbook, and an art book. I originally got that for $90. And right now on on eBay, it is selling for around $250 or more. The Persona 5 Royal one comes with about the same stuff. It comes with a Joker mask that you can actually wear, a steelbook, an art book, and a soundtrack. That one's also $90. People are already selling it for more than $150 on eBay. And then the Persona 4 Collector's Edition for the PS Vita for Persona 4 Golden. That one I don't remember actually how much that was. I'm going to say around the same price because that's usually how they do it with Atlas and Persona games. That I'm going to say that one was probably around $90. It came with, I think, stickers, a theme for the Vita, a skin for the Vita, a case for the Vita, and the game. That is going for almost $400 on eBay, or between $350 or more than $400. So I got super concerned when I heard that I wasn't gonna be able to pick my Persona up. So I actually somehow managed to get one on Amazon.
It was very hit or miss on
It was
the
super
ability
weird,
to actually
actually.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually super weird because I was refreshing it and it was going between unavailable
Basically.
and available, like between refreshes. And I was actually able to snag one. So it's coming in on Friday. I got really scared though because it said it was coming in on Thursday. And what it ended up doing though was it was getting really close to being shipped. and nothing was coming up for it. And I was like, this is not going to get here by Thursday if it still hasn't shipped. But it has officially shipped now, so I'm like sighing in relief now. I pre-ordered mine at Best Buy, so I was able to do curbside pickup. So some of the GameStops in New York State, because of the what they're doing, GameStop tried to say that they were essential, and now certain GameStops, I guess, are doing the curbside pickup, but not all of them. And so I guess from what I've heard, a lot of the ones in New York State are not open at all. So I was concerned. So I'm just happy that I'm getting mine, but I will be getting it on Friday, and I'm gonna spend like 500 hours trying to platinum it.
Apparently, there's like new content in it too. It's
Why
not just
stop
like.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
26?
Yeah, there's very much new content. Yeah.
26, yeah.
Now
Now I'm really embarrassed.
Don't be.
In your defense, in hindsight, it wouldn't have actually taken you that long, right? It was because you had to go back and redo something.
I did have to redo something, so just so everybody else knows, for for Royal that's coming out actually, because it's
Hey, Tater.
It's gonna basically be kind of the same thing. What one of the things you can do is you can do requests in the game. You can basically, it's going into this little place called Mementos, where you do requests. You're basically, it's kind of like doing the big palaces, like the big dungeons basically, but they're tiny. And you just beat the tiny little mini boss, and then you're done with the request. Most of them, once you have it in your little inventory, you can do it whenever you want, but some of them, if you don't actually obtain them, they will disappear and you can't get them. The first time I was going to platinum it, that one's one of the hardest ones, because you have to get all the way at the end of the game in order to get that one. And I missed one request, so I had to go back for a third time to play through the entire game. Oh my god. And then I did it again for my stream.
I was there for that.
At that point, I would be like, all right, I'm done. I'm not doing this.
I'm not going to stream Persona 5 Royal yet, though. I've seen some people streaming it.
Yeah, a bunch of people have been streaming.
And I'm not sure if I want to step on Atlas's toes, because usually Atlas has a rule.
They had that weird
not...
policy when it came out. It was like you couldn't get past a certain day and stream
That's
it or
right,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, they said that they wanted you to wait a few months on Persona 5. They were like, wait 3 or 4 months. It came out in April. They were like, you can start streaming it in July. We just want to avoid spoilers. I've already seen people streaming it though.
Oh, I've seen a bunch of people streaming it.
I don't want to stream it yet.
Surprised, yeah.
So I'm gonna wait, but I'm still gonna play it because I don't want to platinum it.
Trev, what have you been playing lately?
Whenever I see people on Overwatch, I play Overwatch, and then after that, I play Monster Hunters on Sundays, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Whenever I get bored.
Okay, yeah.
Mally?
What have I been playing? Oh, I tried the Resistance beta.
Oh, how was that?
PC. It was interesting. It looks amazing. It looks very, the graphics are really great. I think I've never played a Resident Evil game on PC before, so that was the first time. But it looks amazing. I think the gameplay takes a little bit long to get through a full match. So basically it's a 4v1, so where 4 of you play as survivors and 1 of you plays as the mastermind, basically the villain or the killer.
So is it a bit like Dead by Daylight, a tiny bit?
Yeah, it's basically like Dead by Daylight, but in the Resident Evil world, and you can fight back. So,
okay.
This is the premise of Evolve, is it not? Did anybody play Evolve?
I actually never played Evolve. Did anybody play Evolve?
I haven't played it, but I watched.
That's the one where you you hunt down your friend as a monster, right?
The publisher sort of made it too microtransaction-y, and people ended up not liking it. But apparently, there was a good game buried under publisher nonsense.
Yeah, that game died.
I felt like
really
it died
quick.
though. I don't know anybody that was
oh, it died because of that. Yeah, because people were
well,
it didn't die as fast as Anthem, but it died.
Nothing dies as fast as Anthem.
Speaking of, Eric re-downloaded Anthem recently.
Oh, that's
and I'm concerned.
But yeah, I think it's overly long. like you basically there's like basically like 3 stages to the fight. Like you have like 3 areas you need to escape from, and each uh survivor has like a different skill set and different perks. Like you have a hacker, you have like a brawler, you have a healer.
So yeah, it sounds like Dead by Daylight. Or...
Yeah.
I try it. So
yeah, and it like the beta's free right now.
maybe I'll try
So
it. Did you play? So, I'm sorry. Did you play with a mouse and keyboard, or did you play with a controller?
Yeah, I played with a mouse and keyboard. It's honestly different. I think that the mechanics and like a lot of it is different. I don't know. I would like to try it with a controller as well, just to see. I felt very clumsy doing it because, like I said, I've only ever played Resident Evil games with a controller on console. But it took about 20 minutes to get through the entire match, which felt a little longer, but it was alright. I'd be curious to try some more. I literally only played one match. There was like a tutorial, so I did both tutorials, like the Mastermind tutorial. I played the Survivor tutorial, and then just one full match. I tried to hop on a second match, but the lobby wait time was like...
Were they long?
Well, the first match wasn't so bad. It was only like, it was a typical wait time, but the second one, I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was super early into the beta. It took about 10 minutes.
Oh,
and
boy.
after 10 minutes, I was in a 4-stack where you're just kind of like, okay, maybe we'll just try this again later.
It's like 10 minutes with a 4-stack?
It's definitely, I definitely feel like it's something you need to play with friends, for sure.
So what are the mechanics like? Are any of them first person or third person? Like, kind of like Dead by Daylight, where it's like the killer's first person, for example, or?
Yeah, because you're basically like in a room controlling security cameras as the mastermind. You can spawn monsters and spawn traps to
okay. So yeah. I was a bit...
This sounds like Cabin in the Woods.
I actually thought
great movie.
I actually kind of thought it was more like so I completely misunderstood then. So I was thinking it was kind of like one person was the killer. Like,
well, yeah. So the mastermind is the killer. So basically, you're trying to kill all the survivors to prevent them from escaping.
But I meant like I thought somebody was playing as like Nemesis or
no, yeah. So what the mastermind does is that's actually one of the tricks you can pull. You can unleash Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can only do it one time, and it's for a limited amount of time. So you kind of have to be really like choosy about when and where to like release him. But you can release zombies, you can release traps, you can shoot, you can shoot through the camera at certain points.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the mastermind basically has all these different ways to prevent the survivors from escaping.
So then the like the smaller enemies, then like the zombies, those are AI then.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Huh.
And there are lickers. It's not just like zombies. They do have some lickers. That's very scary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, it seems like it has potential. I just be nice if the wait times were shorter. But honestly, it's in beta. It was brand new. Like when I played it, it wasn't even 12 hours old. So everybody's still just kind of learning and hopping in.
So the like big bad. I mean, besides like being the mastermind, so they don't have Mr. X or anything. For right now, it's just Nemesis. That's like the big bad thing that you can send out.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate attack essentially. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of D&D-esque players versus DM type deal. Oh, yeah, a little bit actually.
Isn't the Predator game like wasn't the beta for that open recently too? That's kind of like the same.
Actually, come out?
I want to say it was like a beta. I don't think it's come out yet.
I actually have a question for you, because I know that obviously you typically don't play horror games at all, within an exception if they're multiplayer. Because I know that you've played. Obviously, we played Friday 13th. That was the very first game that we played together. And then you said you'd be open to playing Resistance. We've talked about Left 4 Dead. So like I'm just curious, like what about the multiplayer aspect of horror games kind of like outweighs the...
Yeah, I think if it's multiplayer, I'd be okay with it. It's less scary for me because it's not like not everything is focusing on me, I guess, at that point. And I have other people that I can talk to. So yeah, I would definitely be open to playing it as long as I'd be playing with friends. It's probably the only time I'd play it.
I was just curious because I was like, because I know that's not something you typically do, but the multiplayer aspect I think probably makes it like less scary.
Yeah, it does. I mean, playing Friday,
And
like
less real too.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, Tater, I doubt it.
No, I would not play Outlaw.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought.
But there's a limit, right? There is a limit.
There is a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit.
Where's the line?
Because, like, to be honest, a lot of multiplayer horror games aren't like they're not horror anymore. You know what I mean?
Not too
like
much.
they like draw from horror source material.
Yeah, it's more
but they
thriller.
stop being horror at a certain point.
That's a good
almost.
point, because Dying Light, I think you can have up to 4 people, and that stops becoming like a horror. It's more of like a
Okay, I never
parkour
played Dying
and-
Light. I always get Dying Light and
Oh, look
Um,
at here. Oh my gosh.
We have an
Oh,
Ash.
hi.
Yeah, we'll do a quick shout out for.
Hi, Asian people.
I actually
Oh my
played
God, we got-
Dying
we
Light
got-
with Ash on stream.
First of all, Ash, thank you for the raid. Second of all, if you're here and you don't follow Ash, you've made a horrible mistake with your life.
What are you even
Okay.
doing?
You need to fix that right now, all right? You need to click on that name Spinachy, open it in a new tab. Don't leave, open it in a new tab, and follow her. Please and thank you.
But I'm assuming if you're coming from here, you've already followed.
Also, hello to all of Ash's people. I think most of you know us. I see Ray. I see Milne. Hey, Milne, what's up? I see
Spanish.
Crepe. Crepe, I'm looking forward to playing games with you
John.
soon. Spanish, John,
Hey,
Spurps.
everybody.
I see some new names. Dark Vibes. I've never seen that name before. How are you?
I've not either.
Oh, Trinsic. Oh, hey, Gameology.
Gemology. Hi, guys.
All our friends
let-
are here.
You let randoms give you a bunch of good gear.
Yeah, so Dying Light
Nice.
has like a cult following of people who are like really experienced in the game, just joining brand new people and giving them like high-end gear.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
John.
supposed to be an absurdly good community.
Yeah, because like we were playing for like about an hour and like we already had an end game gear just because they would drop in and be like, "Here, do you guys want this?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That-
So then it was like a breeze.
That's the
just
game
running
Meerkat
through.
got into, right? Because Meerkat, so for those who don't know,
Yes.
Meerkat is a Dead Island expert. Like, he knows literally everything about the game that there is to know, and I'm not
Okay.
exaggerating at all.
I actually don't know very much about Dying Light because I think I get that confused. I think I've always gotten Dying Light.
Melanie, thank you so much for the
Milne, I
bits.
really appreciate it.
Melanie.
I'm gonna lurk and continue dying.
Okay, what is Dying Light? Can you?
And
What is
words.
Dying Light in 30 seconds?
It's a parkour zombie experience.
That's literally, yeah.
Sold.
Trev just did it. Yeah, he didn't even need to.
Actually,
That is like
I feel
one
I've
sentence.
Maybe I feel like I've played like a little bit of it. Or
I don't know if you were around during that time.
Ray.
Hey
Thank
Ray,
you so
thanks
much
for the
for the
bits.
bits.
Trev just speedrunned your Dying Light explanation.
Yeah, you were like 30 seconds, and I gave you
Yeah.
2 seconds.
I know parkour. That's all I need to know. That sounds great. That sounds
And it's
something I
there's a
would
lot
enjoy.
there's a lot of like the thing about games like that I've found, like Meerkat and I have talked about it a good bit, like with regards to like Dead Island and Dying Light. They give you some mechanics, but you can really take them, you know, the mechanics are deeper than they appear to be.
Ooh, good
So
luck on
you
your
can
quiz,
like
Ray.
take them to a new direction. I'm about to take a quiz. I'll chat in a bit. Ray, good luck. Best of luck to
Didn't
you.
the
What's separated it from being like a
isn't
fun
there a
game
second
from
one?
being a great game?
Did that come out,
I'm
Dying
curious.
Light 2 actually
or did it
has,
get canceled?
so that one actually has a pretty sad ending.
It's literally
It's
sad.
not technically canceled. It's actually kind of a sad thing because Dying Light did not have a release date, and then the developers put out a statement and said that it has been pushed back indefinitely.
I played
Oh,
Dead Island
okay.
for like 3 hours with Rory, Meerkat, and Dale,
I
and I got dizzy.
got and if
so I
Melly
never
got
played it
dizzy,
again.
as you can imagine, I think Morgan, we were talking that night. I think I was in
Yeah.
bed after that for 4 hours,
Yeah.
and I couldn't move. Like, I
I
was.
think
it was awful.
honestly, I think something's wrong with me. I've only gotten like dizzy playing 2 games, and
Look,
one
if-
of them was Dead Island.
If
and
you
the
play it
other
at
one-
12,750 DPI, you would no longer be dizzy.
There's
and,
so much motion at Trev's DPI that there is no more motion.
There's no more. motion.
Past human
It's a
perception.
cupcake without frosting. A cupcake without frosting is just a muffin.
Also, Zippy.
No, because
I don't
cupcakes
know
are
if
made
you know-
as cakes, and muffins are made as more bread.
No.
What?
Have you ever had a chocolate chip muffin?
No, like the texture though.
I feel like you're
Not
both
like
cakey
bread.
though.
Well,
They're
no,
both
it's
cakey.
it's more like
What is this,
Uh,
philosophy of baking? What is
We've been watching, you know, you guys have been watching the Great British Bake Show. We're like, you know, we're like,
okay. I thought more people were gonna like back me up on this, but
like
never
muffins
mind.
are
All right.
just bald cupcakes. Muffins.
I
are
thought
just
more people were
bald
gonna feel this way.
cupcakes. Exactly.
hold up. I do want to say something about the Great British Baking Show actually later. We will get to that actually.
It's an inferior. It's actually an inferior cupcake because it's.
Well, technically, it's healthier because it didn't have frosting.
Next thing you know, we're gonna be debating the exact definition of a sandwich and if tomatoes are fruit or
Well,
not.
by definition, tomatoes are fruits.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But, wait,
And
why
that's
are we
how
on
it's
this analogy? Oh yeah, Dying Light. So Dying Light is a muffin.
We're on,
The
1 second, guys.
It's an Apple brand muffin. If you're eating it with a friend, it's fine. Muffins are far superior to cupcakes in every way. What kind of cupcakes are you eating, Tater? Obviously not the right ones.
We may
My mom's
have.
playing Animal Crossing and she was asking me questions.
I know we've talked about Wendy's, but that's the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
If you
Oh.
I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
I've got to tell you guys about a game that I've been playing. That
Yes,
is
please.
an absolute
Share.
delight.
Oh, the one
So-
you were playing yesterday.
Yeah, the other day I started Origami, which is a stealth game. It's like a Dishonored-esque stealth game, except it's third person, and it's like close third person. Like the character takes up a good bit of the like screen space there, but it makes up for that by having no HUD whatsoever. So like your meter for
So
like
it's
your
super
mana is
immersive.
on your cape, which is insanely a good
Interesting.
idea. And the colors are so vibrant that you can always tell how much meter you have. It has a lot of like visual cues like that.
So immersion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the atmosphere is amazing. The art's incredible. The stealth mechanics are as good as any stealth game. I'm playing it on hard, and it is actually hard, which it should be, because unfortunately this game doesn't have a very
Is that
hard
the
mode.
recommended?
I actually didn't see, because the game when
Really?
you're what?
Blue Storm, this is a podcast. That's what.
Oh
that's what-
yeah. That's
we
right.
talk
yeah.
about.
If you looked at the
gaming.
category, it says talk shows and podcasts.
When Ash came in, we should have said something.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, we're our podcast.
yeah, sorry, yeah. The
I think I lost you.
yeah, no, yeah, you're good. So the game, when you're picking the difficulty, you know how it usually gives a description on the bottom, like this is
Yeah,
for
like the
new
developers
players.
recommend playing on this, or
Yeah, exactly.
This is
There's
if
no
you want a
description.
casual,
There's
yeah,
3
okay.
skulls. It doesn't even say easy, normal, hard. There's just 3 skulls, and you've got to pick. And there's no very hard, which is a bit strange for a stealth game. But I'm playing it now.
Maybe when you beat it.
Maybe when you beat it, it'll unlock a very hard, which would be that's what I'd do it on next time if I could.
they do that in like God of War, so that might be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Resistance did the same thing back in the day. You beat it on hard and then unlock superhuman.
I think Spider-Man has the same thing too, where you beat
Yeah.
it on.
Well, I think Spider-Man that was
anyway.
added in afterward though.
Oh yeah, it was added. Yeah.
But honestly, I've played 3 missions of it now. It's the best stealth game I've played in a long time. Like that's new. I'm super impressed. It's like I can already tell it's going to be a favorite of mine.
It looked really fun.
Yeah,
The art style is really slick.
the
too,
art,
actually.
Melly. If you want, like I have the video up on my channel. You can go like watch and look, see if the art, or look it up on YouTube or whatever to see if the
Yeah.
art connects in any way to you. But I think you actually, Melly, might really enjoy it.
Yeah,
as,
from when
like,
I watched you
an
play,
intro.
the art style.
It
was
looked
really, really
very similar to that game with the dude, the little boy, and like the giant wolf. Oh, Kami or whatever.
Okami.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It kinda
I still
reminds
need to.
me
I
of
still need to
Rhyme
play
also.
that.
Yeah,
Still need to play
definitely.
that.
Oh, that's Rhyme. That's a good example. It's definitely has like a drawn art style, whereas Dishonored is more like oil painted.
Yes.
Like canvas
it-
paints. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely much more like drawn animated. I always appreciate the ability to select rage mode from the beginning, or I mean the hardest. Yeah.
But yeah, Rory's been super enjoying that. It was actually really fun to watch him on both sides. Because I was just sitting right
Yeah,
over
Morgan
there.
was in the room. Yeah.
So is that game something you've been meaning to play, or is that a game Morgan had that you started playing, or?
No, he actually got it on GOG.
Yeah, I knew about
Okay,
it. It
so
was one of the stealth
you've
games.
owned it, and then you're just like, oh, I'll get around to playing this eventually.
It was I bought up a bunch of stealth games basically, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna play these on stream sometime in the future. And finding out it was like Dishonored like was like a big a big helping point for
Motivator?
me.
Yeah.
Started.
Okay, Ash, I was actually gonna ask you. I was like, oh my gosh, have you actually played Okami? What do you think of it? Because I don't know if it's still on sale on the Switch, but I was thinking about getting it on the Switch, and then you just said, "Is that what I heard?" So did you actually play it? Okay,
I know
you
she
did
liked
actually
it.
play it. Okay,
Oh, okay. I just got it recently in a humble monthly, humble choice, whatever they've called it now.
That's where I saw it on sale because I was like, I thought I saw it somewhere recently.
I think someone
60
posted
hours
about
into
it.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
my
Right on.
god.
Well,
Okay, maybe I should get Okami then.
That's promising because like finding out like I've always said games are like one of the best investments in entertainment in terms of like you don't even need to buy a lot of games anymore.
Yeah,
like
to
you
get,
just
like,
buy a
the
few and just think
content
like look
back.
at Melly with Witcher 3. I mean, conceivably
200 hours.
like, conceivably Melly last year, you could have just bought RE2 and Witcher 3 and you would have had a great year of gaming.
Yeah.
Like that would have been enough. Like
Hundreds of hours of
Yeah.
entertainment.
Because I've heard of Okami. Like, I had been actually wanting to play Okami for a really long time because I know it was on the Wii. I did not know that the main storyline was 30 hours. I just thought it was maybe a bit of a shorter,
Wasn't-
like, smaller week.
Wasn't Okami up for like one of the Game Awards?
I mean, people have said that it's a really beautiful art style and everything. I just have never gotten around
Yeah,
to
the
it.
art is-
I mean,
the art is
visually,
what
it
you
looks
wanna
like
play
the
it.
kind of game I would want to play for sure.
I am definitely going to get it, though. I had no idea that you could even sink 60 hours into it. That's amazing.
yeah, that's
You can sink
that's-
60 hours into anything if you try hard
I mean,
enough.
technically, you could try. BRB, no problems at
60 hours of hunk runs.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I didn't know that it had like that. No, so does it have a pretty if it's at least 30 hours, it must have like a pretty in-depth storyline because that's something that I always look for. Yeah, I might get that then. That's awesome.
It looks like the kind of game that'll make me cry at the end, and I love those. So
Somebody's gifted a sub. I wonder who it could have been.
I saw him doing something over there. I was like, he's not typing in chat, but
You weren't interested in it? I might get it. Actually, I have my Switch right here. BRB.
I think Mom played it
I'm gonna see if
too
it's still on sale.
for a while.
Because I have $8 worth of gold points, and I could totally use those.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because it's fairly reasonably priced.
I know she played it. I just don't remember.
Finish. Oh yeah. Well, if it's as long as you're saying, then I can see definitely postponing it. That's one thing about
She kept
stealth
asking
games.
me
is
when
they're
it would
very
end.
Yeah, no, she would come in and be like, "When? How long is this game? When does it end?"
I was saying to Morgan the other day, like
Well,
I'm
it
so
ended.
excited to be streaming stealth games again because it's been like quite a long time.
Do you feel
since
like
I've
you've come
managed to
full
do that.
circle and like you're back
Yeah,
at
in a
like
way,
where
yeah.
where your roots were, where you started?
Because I started playing Skyrim as like a palate cleanser game, and then I was like, okay, well this is great because I have a lot to say about Skyrim with so many accumulated years and hours of playing it. But then I was like, okay, I'm running out of things to say about Skyrim, and it's really long. And I was like, I miss like,
Like
the short-
I can only say so much about Death Bell and mixing it with
Yeah, exactly. I can only teach so many alchemy recipes on stream that are highly valuable before I have to switch.
Well, I was gonna say you shouldn't switch until you find the flawless ruby, but let's be honest, you're never gonna find
That's
the
never.
flawless ruby.
You know what? Like that is one thing that's literally never going to happen. For those who don't know, I've been playing Skyrim, and for the Skyrim quest, the only cure, which is the Peryite Daedra quest, you need a flawless ruby along with Death Bell, Vampire Dust, and a silver ingot. Now, Death Bell, Vampire Dust, and silver ingots are very easy to find. I know, I saw that was funny. But a flawless ruby should be modestly easy to find,
Yes.
but is in fact literally impossible. In my own,
I've seen Rory get like flawless emeralds and flawless
Flawless garnets all over
sapphires
the
and like
place.
literally every other gem, and then I was like, how have you not gotten a flawless ruby by now?
Zippy said it's one of the worst RNG seeds he's ever seen in his life, and I'm sort of inclined to agree with him. Oh, sorry, you really?
Yeah,
Well,
I got
yeah.
it.
No worries. But yeah, one day maybe.
Oh, Rory.
Yeah, what's up?
So I actually have a question for you about
Sure.
like where this whole love for stealth games came from. Like what specifically about stealth just like excites you, or you know?
That's a good question, actually. I always that's a really good question. It almost deserves that I think about it longer, but I'll give it a go.
Just wing it. It's fine.
Well, so I think part of it is like I started early with stealth games because I've been playing stealth games since I was about 5. I started with the demo for Metal Gear Solid that got released on PS1, and so like there's a certain level of just like I'm used to the gameplay loop. I like to think I'm a fairly patient gamer, and so I like the sitting and observing and watching people move around to try to find an ideal way, like through them and stuff like that. I guess I like the sort of repetitive loop of that. It's like, okay, now I found a way through. I get some new ability, so now this helps me find a way through more complicated areas. So especially things like Dishonored are very good for that. So I think honestly the gameplay loop just appeals to like my personality as a gamer and the kind of things that I enjoy in that regard. And I think part of it is that stealth games and action games and games like that, they have it's more, there's more than just success at the end. There's an ideal success. There's a perfect path oftentimes, or a better path. So you can keep improving. You play the game, you're like, well, I did great, but I'd love to replay it, you know? So maybe it's like Trev, maybe how he feels about Bloodborne, right? It's like, oh, I did good, but I slipped up these couple times, so next time I'll do it and I'll achieve a more perfect run of Bloodborne.
The golden path.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I have a follow-up question for Rory. So I know you've done like, I want to say programming and AI programming, right?
AI programming is like the primary thing that I do, but I've done a couple different
Do you
types,
think stealth games help with that? Like develop that like interest because of like you were saying, it's like one mechanic happens and then you had to find a way around that mechanic and then so on and so on?
That's a great question. Honestly, yes. I think gaming, and not just gaming passively, but trying to have an understanding of what a gameplay loop is and what the like intended design of a game is, helps you in terms of when it comes time to making AI. Well, 'cause specifically I did do game AI, right? I think that really helps. It's one of the reasons I'm excited to do like educational streams on that topic, because I think that my audience is uniquely qualified to understand them. Because I think anybody here, since we're all passionate about games, I think could understand like how to design a good game AI once you learn,
Because I'm sure we've all had experiences with like AI where like this is trash, or like why is this AI like this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You play a game and you're like, okay, something's wrong. It shouldn't be this way.
Okay, off the top of your head, best AI and worst AI in a gaming experience that you've had.
Oh, that's a great question.
This is for the chat as well.
I'm actually really interested, particularly, I don't know if Zippy's here, but Zippy has a lot of experience with strategy games, so he may have something to
I know he was
there.
BRBing, but I don't know if he's back yet.
For what it's worth, my best AI is Dishonored 2.
Dishonored 2?
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold up. No. I changed my answer.
Morgan is like, really?
I changed my answer. My answer is
You sure it's
Prismata.
not Styx?
My answer is Prismata now. I changed it. I wrote my master's thesis on changes I made to the Prismata AI. So that's why I picked that in sort of a self-serving way. My new answer is Prismata.
Okay, so how about best AI that you hadn't for a game that you haven't worked
Dishonored 2.
on?
Okay, all right. So there's two classifications.
Fear is a really good choice there from Ray. Yeah, it was the like tree mechanics in Fear were slightly normal, but yeah, it was a part of the game design really. Vove is making a joke about Total War AI because they had a lot of difficulty at the beginning because the people who make Total War tried to implement something called Monte Carlo tree search, which is a really advanced AI protocol, and
Sounds fancy.
it was too advanced. Like, they weren't at a level where they could implement that and have it be good yet. So they wanted to be like cutting edge, but they went too far. They got too ambitious. And so they had to
Icarus.
like,
they flew too close to
Yeah,
the
they
sun.
flew-
That's exactly.
That's exactly
We're
right.
on the
Yeah.
same wavelength right now.
So what about the worst?
Yeah, the worst AI.
That you've for a game that you've played.
For a game that I've played, the worst AI.
Is it gonna be Sticks?
Quick save.
That worst level design, the first Sticks has some good candidates, honestly, in terms of like squander potential. But worst AI for a game I've played. Oh my! I'm honestly not 100% sure. The AI in Thief 2014 is pretty egregiously known to be offensive. But I don't know if it's the worst I've honestly ever seen. Morgan, what would you say, actually? Because you've played a lot of like JRPGs and stuff like that with sort of different AI.
I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of people don't like Thief 2014 in general, so like it may not have been that bad, but like people just don't like it, so they consider it terrible.
I think I'd have to think about it for the JRPG for that point, actually.
Especially for JRPGs, because they give you so much, like...
I mean, for me, in terms of, I don't think it's really this, though, but, like, the RNG for Persona always got on my nerves, but
yeah,
I know that's a little different. I mean, honestly, for some of the Tales games, they would get a little wonky at times. For the newer ones, like, if you would try to walk behind, like, an enemy, like, they would still detect you somehow. So, like for the newer ones, it would get a little bit wonky for, like, Berseria and Zaciria. But that might be one of those ones might be mine.
Yes, Tater.
Good shout by Tater. That the system in Alien Isolation is actually very high quality.
Especially on hard mode, I would have to say.
I was actually going to mention it because knowing that Melly had actually played it. But yeah, like remind us, like, what exactly was it? It's supposed to be like the alien always knows where you are, or he's always everywhere, or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't read about the design in quite a long time of that particular one.
Isn't it a she technically?
Yeah, I think all xenomorph are she's.
It's very good difficulty. Like Melly, you played it through on hard. I think you're probably happy with that. As much as you may have been angry with me and Tater at the start, I think you're probably happy with the choice.
I like to give you guys crap for, like, you know, recommending it on hard, but honestly, I wouldn't have done it any other way, like, looking back, because the way that the way the AI spawn, the way the xenomorph spawns in hard is absolutely how that game should be played, where you, like you were mentioning before, when you play stealth games, like, part of the fun is, like, figuring out the pathways and figuring out, you know, okay, if I go here and it goes, that doesn't really work a whole lot on hard. It actually behaves like an actual being, where you have to where it's unpredictable, and even if you die and you respawn at the same spot, it doesn't mean the Xeno is going to move in the same motion that it did before. So that, to me, was the most terrifying part about that game, where you couldn't really predict the movement. It wasn't like you could memorize a pathway and say, okay, I know the Xeno is going to be here. It might zag when you thought it was going to zig. And so, yeah, I thought that was a really stressful but brilliant, like, part of that game.
Honestly, that observation that you like just made is like my favorite observation about the game. That, like, that's 100% true what you just said, and that's actually, in my opinion, what makes it a horror game and not a stealth game. Is like the AI isn't stealth AI, it's horror AI, and that's what makes it so scary, is the way that it behaves. I really like what Tater said is also worth reading as well.
Would the term be adaptive AI? Because that sounds like what it is.
I don't know how adaptive it is, but that would be an interesting note if it was. On the topic of AI, I did mention a Steam game I've been following, a Tyrannosaurus update. Oh, nice.
What game is it?
Horror
what
game
game?
with stealth mechanics. Yes.
Yeah. That Tater.
That's actually also a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, that might be the way to put it, actually. Like,
also, Ray is also correct by saying that she more yelled and was on fire to Leah.
Melly, you scared me. The game didn't scare me, but Melly yelling scared me.
I do think that game, more than any other game that I played, had the most screams from me. Like,
if you watch Friday, when Ash and Melissa play, you can just count how many times Ash gets scared by Melissa just screaming randomly.
I'm the jump scare alert for Ash's channel.
By no means is Dark Souls 3 a horror game, but
I'm making it a horror game.
Oh my god. Yeah, don't you guys have a counter for screams now? On
Yes.
I added it. I should have added it for Alien Isolation, to be honest, because that's when they really started to happen.
I'm gonna be honest. My favorite time you've ever screamed spontaneously is, I know everybody knows because I've talked about it, was when I was in London for the first time. I was finishing up in the bathroom. I was doing my hair, and you were on, and Roy was in his room, and the bathroom and his bedroom are pretty close together, and I just heard Melly go, ah! And then Roy just goes, Jesus. And that's all I heard through the door.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
I can't control it. I wish I could. Honestly, I wish I could. I wish I didn't sound like a bird when
No, don't change a
Scream.
thing.
Melly, I
Don't
love
change
you.
a thing. It's perfect.
It's like I feel like I should be taking medication or something for it. Like it just never changed it.
No, never. Like we love you, Melly. Like the reason why everybody loves you so much is because of the way that you stream. You know, you are just you, and it's the best, and I love it.
Oh God, Tater, play it on Nightmare. Oh my lord.
I'm really excited to play Little Nightmares.
Oh yeah, Little
I
Nightmares
thought
too.
they said they're supposed to come out in March, and I've heard nothing about it. So
Hey, Verdant, how are you?
I also like Pepe. Screams and Pepe. Those are the only reasons.
Honestly, that's the only reason to tune in, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe Little Nightmares 2 will be. I mean, because I want it to be out. I do want to play it sometime soon, but if it comes out around Halloween time, that'd be even better. Look, my ears will only get worse with time, anyways. Might as well be from watching a friend play good games.
Well, honestly,
See,
I'm gonna be in
at
quarantine for
certain
the next 2
channels,
months.
I only watch with like certain volumes on. Like I used to watch movies
Which
at like
ones? Which ones,
100%,
Trevor?
and then now it's like more like 60%.
Melly, did you say you were going to play Resident Evil 3 on stream right away, or were you gonna wait on one of them?
I mean,
you were gonna wait for The Last of Us. I know.
yeah, that one I'm not gonna wait on. I'll do it as soon as it makes sense.
Oh, I mean, for streaming it, you're gonna.
No,
play...
yeah. Last of Us 2 is the only one I kind of care about. Like, I want it to be as pure of an experience as possible. So, yeah, I'm going to play it off stream first, and then I will stream it later.
I'm super excited for that.
That
actually.
game is just like that. Like the original one is just so sacred to me, and I like I played it 10 times through before I even got into streaming. So I don't know. I just kind of want to.
It's honestly,
I'm gonna keep that special, you know.
It's special for me too, because like that was the first game that I ever watched you stream. Like I just, and I had just
my test stream. My test.
Yeah. I had just been getting to know you then, and I was already friends with Melly on Twitch, and I saw that she was streaming, and I was like, Melly's streaming. Yeah. So I just went to her stream.
I think it was like literally you and Bird that were in there.
I think.
Oh, that's actually a question that we can all answer.
Ray asked, what? Yeah, go
ahead.
on.
Well, no. So there's like the aspect of doing a first playthrough on stream, and then there's an aspect of doing it for yourself. And I know a lot of people get torn between the two because they want to like experience it with the chat and like see their reactions too. But then you have this danger of like an Ash's chat. People will come in like 10 minutes and be like, "This is the ending."
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually some of the problems that I've had before with things that I've only played I think I've only played a few games brand new on stream. Baby cat's probably wanting in. I think I've only played a few games on stream that were brand new for me. Like I did Plague Tale Innocence. That one was probably actually a pretty good one to do though on stream new, because it's not like a lot of people were playing it, but not a lot of people were coming in to spoil it. But like I was actually contemplating back in January of last year to stream Kingdom Hearts actually. I didn't have a PC or anything at the time, but I was gonna maybe do Kingdom Hearts 3 for my first one. I was glad I didn't actually though, because there were a few parts in it that weren't able to be broadcast. So I was actually happy that I didn't do it from there. I could do it now, like with my Elgato, and it'd be fine. But Yeah.
Did you play the DLC? Because I don't think I've seen
haven't played the
anyone play
DLC
the
yet.
DLC. I feel
I
like
haven't
people
played the
like
DLC.
forgot about the game.
I kind of am, because I heard that it like the DLC didn't really add much to it, so I'm kind of maybe waiting until it goes like half off or something, which will probably be a while. But normally I would have been right on top of it because it's Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, I was really close to actually streaming Kingdom Hearts 3 for my first stream. Actually, I'm glad I didn't though, because I just wanted to get through. Oh, hello, we have a guest. I was actually pretty happy that I just went through it on my own, because I just didn't want. I was so scared of spoilers. And
Yeah,
that does scare
that's
me.
why Tiff waited. I think she waited like 3 months or something, or like a month and a half or something like that.
Yeah, she waited a while. Yeah.
Hello. Welcome. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Tater, you said Ash gets it exponentially more than anyone here. Yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, I don't feel like I've had too much of spoiler problems in my channel. There's been a couple times where people drop in and just
I haven't
don't know
had
any
it.
better, but like
Yeah.
that's actually the reason why I was actually torn, because I also like I really enjoy watching Ash play games for the first time, and I was torn because I was like, I want to play Tilu 2 for myself, but I also wanted to watch her play it. So at first, when I thought she was going to be streaming it right off the bat, I was like, well, what do I do? Because I don't want to miss her first playthrough of it, but I also just want to have my own first playthrough. But then
That's when you do audio only, so then you
right,
can
but then she
hear
solved the
but
problem
not
for me
see.
when she said she wasn't going to stream her first playthrough early either. So we both agreed we're going to both play it off stream first, and then stream it. So I can do my own playthrough, but then I can watch hers. So
I feel like there's an issue. I feel like there's an issue also sometimes when like when I was doing Persona 5, I did have a few people that would come in and want to say like the endings for things, and I'd be like, no, because I actually have people in my stream that have never played this game before, and that, what are you doing?
You had a command, if I remember correctly.
Oh, look at that. So cute.
Just a second, come here. Just a second. Calm down.
Aww. Oh my god.
Lillian's the best.
Lillian.
All right, Lo.
She hung out with me this morning while I worked on an assignment.
did.
It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, what Ray just said right there. Someone spoiled P5 from my stream, and it did make me a little bit upset. And sometimes the people would come in and just be like, "Well, the game's been out for a while." And I'm like, "Okay, that's
that doesn't
fine."
mean everyone played it at like release.
And it's like, and I played it, and I already know, but I'm playing this for my viewers. Like,
well, that's the thing. We're watching Morgan play it, so like it's like watching a movie. You're not like, if someone's sitting down and they're watching like Star Wars, you don't roll into the living room and be like, here's what happens at the end of Star Wars. Like, it's not just that we haven't played P5, it's like we're watching Morgan play it, so that's like our movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like especially for Persona 5, like I had played through Persona 5 at that point 3 times. It was my 4th playthrough. So obviously I know everything that has to do with Persona 5, but everybody else in my chat probably doesn't. Well, like Ray, I can remember Ray was like, he got it because I was streaming it and he thought it looked really cool. And
the only thing I know is it's scary how good Morgana is.
Jeez.
That's
the only
honestly,
thing I know.
I'm kind of impressed you remember the quote as well as you do. I know it's said literally no less than 125,000 times in the run of the game, but
trust me, it's ingrained.
I can remember talking to one of my friends about this because I was so excited to get Futaba, because then I didn't have to hear it's just scary how good I am, and then after that I was like, but then after I got Futaba I had to hear bona fide for a million times. And I was like, which one is better? Which one is worse? I don't know. Still haven't even done Futaba's Palace either. It's still there waiting for me. I'm gonna be going through, oh my god, it'll be my 5th time going through Futaba's Palace with Royal. Oh Jesus.
Oh, Tater, that's mean.
Futaba's blessed girl. I like Futaba. I have 2 of her little things right up here.
That's Tess' favorite character from that. I only know that because when I made the panels, I asked her what her favorite character was, and she said Futaba. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is, but all right.
Well, your favorite one was An, who is right here.
Yeah,
An is right there.
Ray's favorite as well. I have to say that in terms of like playing games on stream or playing them off stream, the biggest one for me is Outer Worlds. That's like I have a conflict. Like I don't know whether I want to play it like off stream or on stream. Like it's like I think it's a fine stream game, but it's like finding out what happens in the writing is such a big part of Obsidian games that like and they have so many like enthusiastic fans that someone's gonna roll in and they know everything about it. And if that person is a person who sucks, then they're gonna tell me everything about it. So I'm still I still haven't made up my mind, to be honest.
And one of the things that I really like about playing new games, like for us, for example, like a new game to the streamer as well as to the chat, maybe not even to the chat, like maybe it's been a few years since the game came out and the streamer just started playing it. Like they just picked it up for some reason. Like it is super fun to play something for the first time on stream for a group of people because they're experiencing it. Maybe they've already experienced the game, but they're experiencing the game with you for the first time. And like when I was playing Little Nightmares or Plague Tale, like all that stuff happening was like new, and it was more interesting that way. So yeah, like knowing like the ending, like knowing what's going to be going on in like Plague Tale, for example, like some of the stuff that happened, I wasn't expecting it to be like to end a certain way, I guess. Like when it got about to the middle of the game, I wasn't expecting it to go in that direction. If you guys know what I mean. I'm not trying to spoil too much for those who have actually not played Plague Tale. Which is a really good game. Everybody should play it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really but it actually skewed a way that I was not expecting. So like it was actually really cool to play it because of that. And if somebody had walked in like nearing the beginning of the game and said, yeah, it's crazy how this game just skews off in a different direction, I'd be like, okay, well, I don't like that. I'm trying to play this for the first time, and now you just kind of spoiled that. I think we already talked about it too with in terms with Ash, like
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, like when people would just say, and I'm not going to say it again for other people, but like when people just come in kind of like really unintentionally saying it when they're like, oh, this game is so blah or like so blank, and like that's
it's
really
so sad.
Yeah, like, or oh, this game is so wild. It's like
another one I get is Big Boss coming up. I'm like, stop telling me, but I want to be surprised.
That one is really bad. Lately, I've noticed I'm watching people play Doom Eternal because it makes me sad to know that I can't play it. And I guess I enjoy that, and so I've been watching people, and everybody comes in like Big Boss coming up. I'm like, come on, like. Also, like, how quickly did you play this game? It's like Ash streamed it like the morning after it came out, and people would come in and say stuff like that. I'm like, yo, did you sleep last night? Like, what? Like, also, hey, Sai, how are you? It's good to see you.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah, Tater, record. I don't mind backseating in certain contexts. I am obviously against spoilers.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's a game that I already find super challenging and confusing, like, I don't mind asking for help. Like, to me, that's part of like why I enjoy Twitch so much, is that it is interactive, and then if like like I rely on Trevor all the time to backseat.
Are you going to get your turn?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I rely, but I think I don't know. It just depends on context. Like there's some people that I think sometimes they just want to be helpful, and I appreciate that actually.
Totally. Yeah.
People, but there are the ones who come in and they just kind of want to throw their weight around and. You don't even know who they are.
Yeah, honestly,
like, it just depends on context.
Yeah, like I think it's different when somebody comes into the stream and they've been hanging out for a good while and they're like, hey, do you mind if I give you some help here? I love that kind of stuff because it's like, okay, yeah. Like
they'll ask. Yeah, they ask, and if you say no, let me at least see if I can try to figure it out first, then they respect that, and I think that's super cool.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the coin, there are the people that will just stroll in for the first time. Kind of ask if you want help, and then they'll get mad when you're like, no, I don't want any help, no thank you.
Yeah, I like the way Tater does it. Like he likes to see me struggle, so just enough to get me to the struggle bus, and then if it
so. I agree. I find Tater's level of help to be
what Ray just said too. That's exactly what some of the people will do too.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
terrible.
I told you.
Yeah, like there's
you didn't
yeah,
like you're playing games, it's like however the person has fun playing the game, like just let them play and experience it themselves. Like I mean, like I may like if I roll into a Dishonored stream, like I may know the best route through this map, but like I don't pretend like it was always like that. Like, oh yeah, the first time I played this, I was a god, a ghost run right away, clean hands.
Yeah.
No, like I was trash like everyone else is trash when they first start playing.
I think also sometimes, like, the four of us, we stream, so we know, like, what it's like to have, you're trying to enjoy the game and play it, but you're also trying to make sure you're, paying attention to everybody in chat and interacting and
Yeah.
all that. And sometimes it's just different. Like when you're on that side of it, sometimes it's hard to like process what people are saying.
Oh my good lord.
Lily. Like for instance, like I do this now. Like I used to give
Would you mind letting her out?
used to like probably as early as 4 months ago. Used to give Ash shit all the time because I'm like, just read the lore or like read the like I think it was when she was playing Witcher 3 and she wasn't reading her bestiary or whatever. I'd be like, just read. Like just read it. You'll know how to beat this monster if you just read. So I would just kind of give her shit for that. But then like I started doing the same thing and started not reading my lore and my information. So I was like, okay, I need to stop.
And honestly, I think
harassing her about not reading because when you're on the other side of it, it is actually trickier.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's different too, like because like you and Ash are like best friends, like versus like when you have somebody in your chat that's such a good friend of yours and they're like they just give you shit because you're friends, like that's different versus a brand new person rolling in and then giving you shit. It's like, I don't even know you. What are you doing?
Read me the
doesn't even go
in
here.
Your British accent.
Before
like it is a journey. You just gotta let it happen, and it's gonna happen different ways for different people, and you just go with it.
Everybody comes about things in their own way, like like in their own time. I think like Resident Evil remakes have proved that like sometimes people just need to come to games in their own time. Like there've been Resident Evil games for 1,000 years, but like the remakes are getting new people to be hugely enthusiastic fans.
Yeah.
And some people are gonna do it differently also than some people. I'm sure that like now if I streamed Uncharted 4, there'd be so many people coming in being like, why are you
my
doing
god
that? Like why are you doing it like this? Like
do we need to do like an anniversary stream for you and just play through Uncharted 4 again? Because I would love that.
Uncharted 4 was awesome.
I would love to watch that. That was a great one to watch.
I've actually been thinking of doing the other Uncharted games also. Because I did Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Maybe I should do the other 3.
You should. Wait, have you played them, or like you'll just be like revisiting them? You've played all of them.
I've definitely played.
But that would be some. I've been wanting to play Uncharted 2 recently. Actually, that's my favorite one.
I've not played many of the Uncharted games, but now I have them, and I feel Morgan has told me that I'm obligated to play the series.
They're just it's so much fun.
They're really good.
It's like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider with Nathan Fillion.
You're right,
literally, actually.
Yeah,
I wish Nathan Fillion. Like, I know they've been having all those issues with the Uncharted movie. It's like just cast Nathan Fillion. I guarantee that.
Honestly, I feel like he's aging backwards. Have you seen him on like on Instagram? He looks better today than he did like 10 years ago. I think he's literally like Benjamin Buttoning.
Oh yeah, it was 426.
I think he could still play Nathan. I almost called him. I think he could still play Nathan Fillion. I think you could still play Nathan Drake.
Before we get into news, like especially since Trev has gone to go eat, he'll be back in like 2 seconds, I'm sure. I do want to answer something that
welcome back.
Did it get canceled, Sai? That is disappointing. For the 4th time, I think that fight's been canceled. I really am looking forward to when all this is settled down and that fight can happen, which actually sort of leads me into the topic Ray asked earlier, how we were, welcome back, Zippy. How we were coping with like the COVID situation. I'll speak for myself first and say, like, honestly, like pretty well. Like, I've been here with Morgan, which helps a lot. Like, where I live, like back in Canada, it's not my hometown. And I don't have a whole lot of friends there. There's pretty much just me and my roommate, who's a really close friend of mine. But like, I don't have a big like social support system there. I know more people here than I do there, for a point of reference. So like, I've really enjoyed being here with Morgan, and like we just like hang out and we watch TV, and we definitely like miss being able to like go out and go out to dinner and movies and stuff like that. But honestly, I think we've been coping really well. Like, And
Well, yeah,
generally
like
speaking, you
because
know,
we're just here with my family, so we at least have a few other people that we can talk to, like that are because like don't get me wrong, I love talking to everybody on the internet, but like in terms of like human interaction, we at least have some of my other family members that we have here too, but it does suck like we don't really go out. All we've been going out for is groceries, come back home. We can't even go and see my grandma, which is sad. But like I want to keep my grandma safe is the thing. So,
exactly. Yep.
But and I've been telling everybody like don't see my grandma.
You know what's funny? Had I gone to New York, I probably would be just podcasting with you guys, like
Probably.
from
Yeah.
if I had gone.
I mean, we would love to have you. So, but yeah, it is sad because like we'd like to see some of our other friends, you know, because that's what we would have been doing. Was
Yeah, we would have been hanging
out with all of
yeah.
our because Rory does all like we have like all of our mutual friends are like around the area, which is nice. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I still have to meet Melly.
yeah,
I
They,
know.
uh,
I feel so cheated. I was supposed to meet Eric and I was supposed to meet Rory for the very first time. And
They,
I feel cheated. I was
And-
so excited.
For reference, like those of you who come around here will know it, but me and Melly have shared countless hours of conversation and gaming together. They but have not yet been able to meet in person.
I think
so
we're the
hopefully we'll get
only.
that opportunity.
Well, no, I haven't met Trev in real life, and I've only met Morgan. So like
I've met
4.
Yeah, I've met Trev, and yeah, I need to meet Tater.
Oh, I know Zippy. I know you were so
Tater and
excited.
Tater and Zippy are two others that I really need to
Zippy
meet.
Con. You could do
Zippy
Zippy
Con,
Con. Rory Con.
Rory Con. Rory
Sugar
Con
Con.
would be an interesting one.
Sugar Con would be Disney World. Just saying.
Yeah.
I would love that. Like I can't. Like that's like a dream of mine, actually. Going to Disney World with Melly.
Well, it'll be the beach in Disney World and maybe Harry Potter World too.
Oh, I love that.
Rory Con would be Ottawa, and I like how
Zippy
it's
Con
not
would just
even
be
called
PAX
Tocto Con. Like it's not Tocto Con. We're just giving up on that. It's Rory Con.
Would just be a tech attorney.
Yeah,
And yeah, ZippyCon would just be PAX South. I'd love to go to PAX South.
me too. Yeah.
All I have to do then is just make it.
I would come up for
to
that.
PAX West. Then
Yes.
I go to all the PAXs.
We really just need to get everybody. Well, I guess I don't know about the fate of like Telericon 2 now with all the chaos that's been
Honestly,
happening.
yeah.
'Cause that's in August, but
We'll
you know-
see in 2021, you guys.
yeah, really though.
Sad. But I've just been coping. Same thing as having Rory here, and it has been really nice just being able to have him here because he's going to be here until middle of April now too. So
Yeah.
he's been here for a while. And
It's our
nice.
longest-
Rory's just
the
going to be an
longest trip.
American citizen soon. He's just going to
yeah.
get his dual citizenship.
But it's been nice. We would like to go out, like get some food and like hang out with friends and stuff, but we could, but we shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Flatten the
like,
curve.
yeah, like that exactly. Like we're and like we know that we don't have it because I mean I live in a small area anyways, that doesn't have a lot of cases anyways, but there are cases, so we're just trying to be careful. Like no matter what, especially because like I have my brother doesn't live with me, one of my brothers, but my mom is immunocompromised, my brother is, and so we've been trying to be very extra careful. We've only been going out for groceries, and so what we've just been doing is making food here. Like we make clam chowder. My mom made her meat like special meatloaf.
That was phenomenal. The clam chowder was
Okay.
was definitely the best clam chowder I've ever had in my life.
Okay, I was going to ask that. Rory, what's the best thing you've eaten there, like in terms of like quarantine food?
Quarantine food, I honestly think probably the clam chowder was my
it was
favorite.
great.
Although it's a close race between that and the calzones.
Yeah,
that's
my dad
like a
was
very
calzones.
that's like a very neck and neck race.
The last time I
The
dad
low cal calzone zone. I'm just kidding. Probably not low. Probably not low cal. Probably high cal.
Also, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, D&D. That's another thing. It's
Chowder.
like, this thing is taking a bite out of his people's like D&D plans if they're not doing it like digitally like Zippy is.
That's probably actually what I'm gonna eat because I think I have one bowl left. So
Yeah, Rory, you have to say it properly. You can't say chowder. It's chowder.
Chowder.
Oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
But actually, it's pretty hilarious. To answer Ray's question too, it was so funny. So we made the clam chowder, and we were watching the Great British Baking Show, and I was eating mine, and I was using my awesome what's it called? The soup cozy. My little soup cozy that Melly got me.
Yay! That's like the best purchase I made in 2019 was buying Morgan.
It's amazing. I love it so much. But so I eat slow. Rory eats like a monster.
It's true.
And so I was eating kind of slower. And he was like, I think I'm satisfied with this much. We went upstairs, well, in here because we have a TV right over here. We were watching TV, and then he finished in record time, and then he goes, I'm gonna go get more. And so he went down and he got another bowl.
Yeah, it was really terrific.
It's very good. We love making, like, that's one thing that my mom and I actually really like to do is we'll cook from scratch stuff together. Like, we'll bake and we'll cook. And it's my favorite thing to do ever. I'm trying to convince my dad to figure out if he can maybe make cinnamon rolls when he's here.
Yes, cinnamon rolls.
Because I know you just
I'm
made
pro
cinnamon rolls.
So did Ash.
Oh, she
We
did
were-
it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think,
Well,
right?
we had like
Two
a
people
baking
were doing
date.
it at once, so
We
I thought
had
it was,
a baking
oh,
date.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, we both were like, let's make these tonight together. So
I love that. But yeah, my dad has been because he bakes. He's done all sorts of stuff. Because I mean, he used to him and his side of the family had a bakery. So they did all sorts of baking. And my dad, when he makes the cinnamon rolls, we know what's going on because he makes like 10 tins full of them. And then he'll give them to people.
Oh, I have a question because y'all have been watching the Great British Baking Show, right?
So good. Yeah.
Has there been anything? Because so my experience watching Great British Baking Show is that I enjoy the show, but then I also immediately want to start baking things.
Yeah.
So,
We watch it while eating, and it helps.
Oh, okay.
It helps, like, sort of stave off the inevitable, like, hunger that you feel when you watch it a little hungry. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, like, did watching that show make you excited to like try to bake or attempt to bake something specific?
We were actually gonna try to bake. I can't remember
We're gonna
which
try
one
to
it was gonna
bake
do.
something from, like, the Mary Berry cookbook.
Yeah, because I have a Mary Berry.
Yeah. Oh, you do. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I need
I personally, like, I can cook, but baking is like, I'm total new, right? Like it's completely new to me. Everything about it.
See, and
So-
I bake all the time.
And Morgan has, like, a lot of experience with it, so I'd like to expand, like, and I can only cook a few things, right? Like, I think what I cook well, but my like things that I can cook, it's a pretty narrow subset.
Yeah.
So I definitely would like to add baking to my rep 100%.
Well, you talked about coping with COVID. Like, I didn't even think that, like, just making food at home is a different thing right now. Just because I can't just run to the grocery store every time I want to. Like, I'm really trying to limit. And actually, today I had groceries delivered for the first time ever because I didn't want to have to deal with it. There was like this free trial where I could have like free delivery for like a month. So I'm like, this is a perfect time to try that. But like ingredients aren't readily available anymore. So it's like now I'm having to get creative or just make do, and it's just like like a different. It's like we're in a different world than we were a month ago. It's very odd.
Well, one of the things that I've been noticing too is that like when like we'll go to my family and I well, not my whole family, my mom and Rory and I will buckle down and we'll go outside to go grocery shopping like a few times now. Like I can remember back like well, not that long ago now, but like before all of this, like what we would do is we would go to welcome back, Trev.
Oh, Trev's back. Okay, yeah.
Because what we would do is we'd think like, okay, what's something that we can bake today? And what we've been doing now is like, what's something that what are things that we need to get so we don't have to go to the store for like another week and a half.
Yeah.
So we've been getting like, because even if we have shampoo and conditioner left, I'll be like, let's get another bottle of shampoo and conditioner. So we're prepared for it, and then we don't have to come back in a few days.
Yeah. We have a fair bit of craft dinner here, which is handy.
Mostly for him.
It's one of the great
Squirrely.
joys. Hey, Squirrely, how are you?
Squirrely.
But yeah, like that's what we've been doing. I'm noticing now, like we've been thinking, like, what are things that we need to get so we don't have to come back? Because like we got food, like I think my mom got food for like to make like a rigatoni meal, and then we also got to make clam chowder. So like that's what we've been making sure to do.
Which, to be honest, I should have been operating this way the whole time, but I'm just so used to accessibility and just being able to. I don't have to think or plan ahead too much because I can just run to the store. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's not like a thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely things that we can learn, like, from this situation, like, which is a terrible situation, but there are definitely things, like, there's a lot of things that can be done remotely that I don't think people realize could be done remotely, like a lot of meetings that you can just have on Zoom instead of, like, everybody driving in, like...
Yeah.
But in other terms of, like, actually, like, coping, I mean, what we've been doing is playing Animal Crossing. That's mostly what I've been doing. Playing Overwatch, watching Great British Baking Show.
You guys gotta watch
watching
it.
Picard.
Yeah, we just started, we watched the first episode of Picard, which was wonderful.
Are you guys still
Morgan
going
is
through
amazing and is watching Picard with me.
the Clone Wars?
Sorry?
Oh yeah, we need to.
Oh yeah,
finish
we
watching
gotta watch
Clone
more of
Wars.
that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And actually for me, because my mom finally got Animal Crossing back from my brother, so
Yeah.
she's been playing that. Actually, when I'm muted, she was like, when she was over here, you probably saw her like at the door. She was asking me about stuff for Bunny Day on Animal Crossing. I think that's what she was doing. But yeah, like since I got my mom the Switch, like she's been asking me to come downstairs and help her with a few things. She beat Untitled Goose Game.
Hey, honk.
She loved it. Honk, yeah. She started playing Animal Crossing, and she started playing Little Nightmares, so she's enjoying them. I love this. This is amazing. But that's mostly what we've been doing. And now that we got everything set up for free, because I still have OBS Studio on my computer. So I have both Streamlabs and OBS Studio, because I stopped using OBS Studio, so we actually set up the stuff for his stream, so now he can just stream from here. And it honestly kind of helped us out a little bit more too, because I was like, I mean, after all this is done, hopefully soon, when he comes to visit, he doesn't have to just take like 4 days.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have to take time off. He can just
of streaming. He could at least stream like one of the days or 2 of the days or however many days. I don't really mind that he's here also. So we have that set up for him as well.
that's actually how I have this set up. I have mine on Slobs and then streamers.
That's
on,
That was the inspiration for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually where I got the idea, because Rory was like, well, what am I like? I mean, I suppose I could log out of the Streamlabs, and I was like, or we could just set you up on OBS. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's like it's funny to me because I started out on OBS and I didn't want to change the Streamlabs because every streamer I watched was like, my Streamlabs stuff isn't working today, and I was like, yeah, you know what, no. And
I'm not a sucker.
I remember you were a hard recruit to get.
Yeah,
to get over.
I really was. Yeah, and like, so like for me now, streaming a stealth game on OBS, it's like day one. Like it's like
It brings
this
you
is
back
like
to your
old school
roots.
Rory.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty good though. And like I told him that if he wanted to do anything else, like on the Elgato, he could even.
Yeah, that's true because
So-
the capture card. Because I don't have one at home because I don't have a spare PCIe slot.
You should
for,
start a
like,
new game of Spider-Man and then just work your way through it.
I know you'll have one supporter.
Morgan,
for
2
idea.
supporters.
2, okay. Yeah.
But honestly, like going from that, actually, it's kind of sad but good at the same time with all of this that's happening, because don't get me wrong, this is terrible. I'd rather this not be going on. But it's good and sad at the same time, because it's really been showing the world just how many things we can do from home.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's kind of sad actually, because like there have been so many people that are disabled that aren't able to get certain jobs because they'll say, can I do some of like half of my work from home and come in to work like half the week and then work half the other week or half of the rest of the week from home, and work.
And they've all said
workplaces will
you
just be
can't
like,
work from
"No,
home."
can't do it."
And then
And
here
now
we are
everybody's
working
working
from home.
Yeah.
But it's actually also kind of sad because right now we are experiencing like the cleanest that our world has ever been. Like the ozone is healing right now.
Oh, look at what Tater said.
Which is crazy.
Luna has finally looked away from the screen since Lillian was on. She looks so sad that she hasn't come back yet. Oh,
That's adorable.
But yeah, this Zippy actually, that's a very good way to put it. Like this, we will see a paradigm shift from this, because I'm sure everything will kind of go back to how it was.
This kind of like transitions well into the article. Well, not really article, but that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
I saw you
it was
put tweets
actually,
in there.
it was actually inspired by this tweet. I'm just gonna post this, but basically, if you click on that, it's basically like it shows attitudes towards video games before COVID-19, which was the world.
Oh, I saw. I think Lance retweeted that, or some. I think Ash did.
I think Ash did. Yeah, it said video game in 2019.
Yeah, it's like
World
causing health
Organization
problems or something.
Is video game addiction is officially considered a mental disorder. That was in 2019, in August 2019, I believe, when this was posted. So not even a full year ago. And then
after the whole COVID
March
stuff.
29th, just a couple days ago, World Health Organization, the same organization, reported that playing video games is a healthy social pastime, or is a healthy social pastime during coronavirus pandemic. So
to be fair, those two things are compatible.
Yeah,
Like,
they are. But
they can go hand in hand, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we've heard for years that, video games being stigmatized as being like
They'll melt your brain.
they'll melt your
Oh,
brain,
God.
they'll make you do violent things, they'll rot your brain, like if you're addicted to it, it's a disorder. And I don't think that these things are like mutually like I think they can both exist. They're two truths that like exist in the same space. But I just thought that was interesting because I've witnessed this in my own life, my own personal life, the past couple of weeks, where I have friends that are not you wouldn't call them gamers, you wouldn't call them the way that we game necessarily, but
They're more casual,
or just they play mobile games, but like
so they play Diablo Mobile.
I think I mentioned this last week, but I had a friend of mine, not a gamer at all. She literally dropped $400 to buy a Switch and Animal Crossing because she was just bored out of her mind and wanted to connect with her friends. I had another friend text me and call me the other day because she's like, I want to be involved with Twitch. And I was like, okay, as what capacity? It's a streamer as a viewer. She's like, I have no idea, but I just want I'm driving, I'm like going crazy, like not having something to do, not having a way to interact with people,
This is when our introvert people like self-thrive and like everyone else is just like, what do we do?
And actually, not to put the topic on Animal Crossing, but it's actually really interesting how Animal Crossing has really kind of shifted things also in terms of this, because Animal Crossing used to be kind of a more niche game, and now with everybody being stuck in their house, so many people are playing Animal Crossing now, and
it's happy and relaxing, so it's distracting from boredom.
That is like
distracting from all the
95% of my Twitter feed.
happening.
It's
just
relaxing,
Animal Crossing.
happy.
It takes up a lot of time.
It takes up time because
you can only binge watch so many shows before you run out of shows.
The thing also about Animal Crossing is that it's slow paced. So one of the things about this is it's a simulator game. Most of the time, simulator games like Harvest Moon and like Story Seasons. What am I going with? My Time at Portia. Most of the time, games tend to go on. With those kinds of simulation games. At some point, they peter out a bit. And it's because like you can go super super fast, with things on games like those. Like My Time at Portia, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go through these really quick. Like most of the time, each day is about less than a half an hour. Is usually how they do it. Because each minute for us is an hour in game with games like those. So everything goes super super fast. And even then, like maybe you're like, well, I got done with my stuff a bit early. I'm gonna go to bed, start the next day. So sometimes it's not even 24 minutes. Versus Animal Crossing is 24-hour clock. So if it is February 26, 2020 at 4:26 p.m. in real life, that's what it is. Well, what it should be, at least in the game. If people are playing it the way that it's supposed to be, there are people that are time traveling to make things go quicker. But if you're going to play it at the pace that the developers want you to play it, it's a 24-hour clock. So like for me, for example, I was trying to get through stuff to get a bridge built. So say like, I'm just going to use an example, like say yesterday I wanted a bridge to be built in my town. And I had enough funds to be able to get it done. I wanted to do it before the next day though, because if I finished it, like say today, then the bridge wouldn't be built until tomorrow. So then I'd have to wait. So not only that, like people are having to wait for things to get done, and getting new things built. They are going through and getting new recipes and getting like going to different islands to get different materials like bamboo, or right now they're doing since it's springtime, they're doing cherry blossoms that you can get out of the air, to craft stuff from cherry blossoms. And not only that, but you can also interact with other people. Like just yesterday on my stream, I had a bunch of people coming in and out of my little island just to hang out and go fishing.
Zippy went, right?
Yeah. So did Pi and
Liz.
And yeah, my friend Liz did. Lonnie came over.
I might just get it for that social aspect, you know?
That's exactly what it is. There's
just make
so
sure you're
like
6 feet
we were
away.
having so much fun. Like my thing with like for my island, for example, is that I like to make an ocarina for everybody that comes to my island for the first time. So I'll give them an ocarina, and we'll all play the little ocarina together. I've been giving everybody witch hats. But like who was it? It was Zippy, Pi. I don't know about Zippy actually, but Pi and Lonnie came over to my island because they were trying to get oh, my dog's just barking. They were trying to get a certain fish because depending on this is another thing actually too, because you can get bugs and fish and fossils for your museum, and everything goes by a certain like month and day. So say if it's March, like one of the ones that Dr. Pi, who into my stream every once in a while, wanted to get was a stringfish, and March 31st was the last day to get it because the stringfish wasn't going to come back until like November or something. And so if you really wanted this fish, you had to get it now. And so he actually came over to try and get it, and Lonnie tried and get it.
Is that Pepe or something?
Yeah, it's. I think that's Pepe. Can you hear that?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
Pepe.
Pepe, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought it
We
was,
thought it might have been like Sunshine barking.
I thought it was Sadie because I was like, maybe somebody's
Oh
just
yeah,
not
that's
down
true.
there. My dog, like our dog, is blind and deaf, and she will get scared, and she'll get like somewhere, and she won't know where she is, so she'll just start barking for help. So I thought that was her. Sorry. So yeah, like I had people coming over just like for that too. Like, hey, can I come over? It's still March where you are. Can I try to catch this fish? And I was like, yes. So like it's stuff like that. Val came over today and was hanging out, and like just the social aspect is so neat. Because everybody's gonna have different recipes, so you could be like, oh, I have this thing that I built or that I got from my town today. Like, I'm gonna give it to you. Do you want it? And then you can come over to like each other's islands and give each other things. You can even send letters for like 200 bells in the game, and you can send things to each other. It's like that's fun also, like because just when I feel like it, like I'll get like a letter from my friend Liz, and she'll just be like, I thought of you when I saw this, and she'll just send me like a hat. And it's the sweetest thing.
What is that emote that Ray used? That's a Melly emote? I've never seen it.
That's a new one. That's the Pepe one.
Oh my god, Mel, I didn't even know.
I
Melly,
think you're
you're
muted.
muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just went live yesterday. Today.
Oh my
Or
god.
yesterday? Yeah.
I love this.
I love it. It's so good, Melly.
It's the best.
I haven't
This is
been
exactly the reason you should drop it is because of hearing him.
I was so like busy like with like coursework. Like I was in Tiff's today. I was saying hi to Tiff. I was like, Tiff, I've been missing this whole Fallout New Vegas playthrough. Like one of my favorite games of all time. Because like I had like papers to mark and stuff like that for so long. Like my courses, for those who don't know, finish on Friday, and I'm beyond excited. I'm so done with doing courses this late. Like I've been doing them for too many years now. Like
Well, not to mention, because Ray was like, way to check Sugar's Discord.
Yeah,
Discord for me has been blowing up. Everybody's on Discord. Everybody's on Steam. Everybody's on Animal Crossing. But yeah, like honestly, yeah, like I love Animal Crossing. It's my favorite game. I'm not trying to like tell people what to get, but Zippy Zippy had just said too before. He said that since his sister got it, he has he got it because he wanted to play with his sister.
Hmm.
And like that's a really good reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Like my brother and I were hanging out on each other's islands, and he like put some pictures on Facebook, and it's like me and my sis, you know, and it's such a nice little way just to connect with people and to have fun. And anything, I guess, really, like any games right now, like playing Overwatch and playing Animal Crossing, just playing any game, or like what Melly and Ash are doing, playing Dark Souls, right? You guys started Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3.
Like just having fun like that. And I'm glad. I mean, because I know you guys were doing stuff like that before all of this happened, but it's been so nice actually seeing so many people realize like, wow, gaming actually really brings people together in this in this day and age. And it's really great.
I think
Oh, Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony. I think it also helps because, like, I know you guys have probably dealt with this a little bit, but there was sort of an aspect of like when I was just getting into Twitch and just getting like to know people, like you guys. There was an aspect of like I would kind of mention it with some of my real life friends, and some of them would be like, "Oh, but those aren't real friends, right? Those are just like Twitch friends. Like Twitch friends weren't real friends." Which we know is not true, but there is like a perception if like you meet people through gaming or
that's
through,
a naive
like,
person speaking because they've never had
that
friends.
it's not a real friendship. You know what I mean? And I honestly think I hope like one of the good things that could come out of this is people like start to
realize
that when you can have you can make and form like genuine lasting friendships.
Well, because wasn't this whole
platform.
concept kind of like pen pals back in the day? Because wasn't that the whole concept of pen pals was like to make a friend that wasn't
exactly.
so it's like if you were in that generation that did pen pals, then how is this any different?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we're people who play games, like we're used to the concept of online friends. Like we've seen it. Like if you were around when WoW was happening, like people got married, you know, and stuff like that. Like people met through WoW and stuff. Like
one of my friends actually, he I can't remember how long ago, but he went to out of state, like to like a long ways away to visit some friends that he had only known from, it might have been World of Warcraft, now that I think about it. I'll have to ask him. But they were playing something online, and they had none of them had met each other up in real life, and they did not that long ago, and he said it was awesome. And yeah, it's so nice, you know, like now that people kind of see that, because I think so many people now are having to communicate with like they're just their regular friends over like FaceTime and text and stuff, and not being able to see each other.
Like what Sai says. Yeah, all of his friends are online friends now. You know?
Literally everybody.
And I mean, we're used to that because we're used to being distances apart. You know what I mean? So like, I'm communicating with Melly and Trev the same way I ordinarily communicate with Melly and Trev.
Yeah. And like, it is nice now that we have that because people can understand. I think at least now, and I don't think it's as scrutinized anymore. I'm hoping that it won't peter out and people will be able to, kind of stay with this. You know what I mean?
It might be a thing like in that tweet where it was like, oh yeah, video games are like an addiction and like a mental illness, and then like just wait a couple months and then people are like, oh yeah, online friends are validated. It's like, well, we were telling you that for like, the longest time.
And not only is it like, I guess, with both types of gaming where it's social gaming and then single gaming where like you're just playing like a single player game, like people are figuring out like that these are ways, like with Animal Crossing, for example, if you just play it by yourself, or like playing Spider-Man or playing anything, I guess, is just helping people calm down and not think about the news and think about all the terrible that's happening right now. And then also the social gaming that you're making friends and just kind of relaxing at the same time. Even if you are playing games that maybe are a bit not relaxing, like Dark Souls.
Those games are relaxing.
Gosh, like Ash said something about that yesterday in her stream. She's just like, like it's been a really chill stream today, and I was like, you started playing. What was she playing? She was doing Resident Evil 7 on Madhouse. And then also doing like a speed run of Resident Evil 1. I was like, that's her idea of a relaxing.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
The other thing I think people realize is that single player games have social aspects too, because when you talk to other people in the community and stuff like that, like think of all the people you probably met through playing Witcher 3. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
So
you
many
know,
of
the
our
Witcher
friends.
3 community. Like, how many
Yeah.
times did Melly raid someone on Witcher 3 who's now like a member of our stream team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
or,
you know,
like,
we watch
I'm-
the stream all the
Yeah,
time.
you think of like Pasta, that was through Witcher 3.
Pasta and
Yeah.
Vix, right?
Vix was.
Or
And
I
then
think
Megan
Megan
was
too,
Megan.
right?
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I can remember like when Melly and I were both playing Spider-Man, like we'd be texting each other like, "Did you get to this part yet?"
Hey
Like,
AJ, how are you?
That real honestly like that. I mean, I know like we met through.
Speaking of friendship,
Tracy's
I
channel
actually
and-
hung out with AJ a lot because of Monster Hunter on PS4. That's why I have over
Yeah.
900 hours on it.
What were you saying?
like
Mel?
I was gonna say like obviously Tracy's channel and Friday the 13th was kind of like how we got to like meet each other, but I feel like Spider-Man is what made us friends. Like
It
just
was,
because
like,
we were
big
both
time.
so excited about playing the game and talking to someone who else also playing the game, experiencing the game at the same time. Like, yeah.
Yep.
I wanted
never
to
died.
actually read this quote. I wanted to read this quote from this article because I actually think it's pretty on point. This is from Bobby Kotick, who's the CEO of Activision Blizzard. But he was commenting because of, you know, they obviously just released Warzone, which is pretty popular right now. But he said, it's never been more critical to ensure people stay safely connected to one another. Games are the
Yeah.
perfect platform because they connect people through the lens of joy, purpose, and meaning. We are proud to participate in such a worthwhile and necessary initiative. I never thought Call of Duty would be like, like
Yeah, that's
you know,
not a
driving
game I would
force.
think.
Yeah, but like that's where we are right now, where you know there's 30 million people playing this game right now.
Look, there's a lot
actually is a
that's
really
happened
good way
this
to-
year that I think a lot of us wouldn't have thought were gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well,
A
it's
lot of
also-
things have
yeah.
happened in 2020
A lot of
that we
games
didn't
now
think.
have been like bumped up. Like fighting games are really like doing much better numbers now, like than they usually do.
Because
Like,
everyone's
I was
got
looking
so
at-
much free time now.
Yeah, everyone's got free time, and you know they're 1v1 games, so they're great if you have like one friend you really want to play with.
That actually is a really good way of putting it too. What Melly said, that this is the safest way to hang out with like your family members or your friends. So like instead of like say like my brother Mac and I, you know, like instead of him coming over to just hang out, like we could just get on Overwatch and hang out that way. Or my brother JJ and I will just get on Animal Crossing and hang out that way, and we'll just talk on the phone. So it is actually a lot. It is also a lot safer.
Tater says
Isn't-
fighting games are perfect for sibling disputes. I like that. And yes, if you're unfortunate,
I feel like
yes.
the older sibling always wins though, or the one who has the most experience. Like, and usually
So
it's the
I
older
actually,
one.
so I don't want to get off topic just because this has been a pretty good topic to talk about, but we were going to talk about the PlayStation 5 price reveal.
Yes.
I found
Yes.
this very interesting.
Well, it was supposed
Well,
to
it wasn't a
leak.
reveal.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
a
a
leak.
leak.
Yeah.
That
They,
may or may not be true. So
Rumor
take
leak.
it with a grain of salt.
This is the good one for us because it's a follow-up of something we talked about a couple weeks ago, because there were
Yes.
estimates of how much the PS5 would cost. One of the things we mentioned is you can sell a console at near cost because you don't have to make money on the console. In fact,
Yes,
you
it's
generally
like
don't.
Mass production
but-
equals mass sales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the
See, and that's what we're wondering about Zippy, because if it would, because okay, so it was $3.99. Is that what they were saying?
I think
It
they
was-
said $4.99 for the
$4.99.
which is,
so-
if I'm not mistaken, the same price as a PS4 when it first came out, or was it PS4 $3.99?
I know I seem to remember the leak being $3.99, and that's kind of what put me in
Yeah.
Zippy's camp.
398,
as
398, and then
Yeah, yeah.
559 in Canadian dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So like between, like I mean, because that's what the one that I heard was around $3.99, like
That's
around 400.
significantly cheaper than I was.
Exactly, because I was expecting it to be like $4.99 or even more.
I was
and-
thinking like $599. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was actually gonna be more than that because it's basically a PC. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
they have the
So,
equivalent
honestly,
of
like,
a 2070. They have an SSD now. They have all this extra.
I'd actually really like to see how much the Xbox One, not Xbox One, the Xbox Series X will be, because I like when they actually and like officially announce what that price is going to be. It'll probably be around the same price for the PlayStation 5
Yes.
if they don't actually officially release that before Xbox.
My estimate is around $470 for the price of it. It
Like $470 American.
Yeah, it probably costs about $450 roughly to make. I estimate about $470, really slightly above, but I would be surprised if they sold it at $399. I mean, it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's strictly better on the consumer end if
It
it's
would be
cheaper.
if that's true. I mean, that would
I imagine
be,
that would make a lot more sales if it was cheaper. So then they might be trying
probably
that
would.
angle. where it's like, oh, if we have it lowered, more people
Rykor.
will buy it.
But it would be interesting if it would be that much. That's why, like, I wish that PlayStation would, get going, or Sony, I suppose I should say, would get going with some of their reveals. Because it's not like we know the price point yet for the Xbox Series X, but we know what it looks like, and we know even one of the games, or a few of the games that will definitely be on it, because Halo Infinite, right? Infinite, I think is what
Yes, one of the Halos is
Halo.
coming out straight on
Halo
when
Infinite,
it releases.
and then Senua's Sacrifice 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
yeah.
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2, yeah.
Yeah. Hellblade 2 is going to be on it. We actually saw, like, not gameplay, but we saw a trailer
reveal.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I've noticed that, like, for the most part, most gaming release dates are pretty on track, as far as we know. So it's like I think there's a aspect to this where the software part of gaming seems to be, things are chugging along as normal. People can work from home. People are working remotely. I think there's an aspect of the hardware of this whole thing that has a potential of not being released when we are, like, when they're planning for it to be released, just because of, like,
I
so
agree.
many the parts having to be manufactured.
Yep.
A lot of those supply lines and a lot of those, like,
Well,
places are shut down
keep
right
in
now.
mind that, like, they're still not gonna release it till, I think they said
It did say
holiday
for both
time
parts
of
holiday.
2020.
But I'm just saying,
So
now
that's
there's a
still,
lot
like-
there's a lot that needed to happen even without COVID for them to
Yeah.
make
You're right, yeah,
production
yeah.
deadlines. So now, I mean, do we even think this like PlayStation 5 is going to come out by
Well, they
I
haven't
know they said that they still
anything about
estimate
it.
to have the
Yeah.
same time. Like, they've come out and said that, but then again, who's to say? The whole thing that's confusing about COVID is that for people is that the story changes and it evolves, right?
Yes.
Like,
and
so
news
much.
just changes so quickly. Right
Yeah,
now.
And
every day
we
there's
don't know
something
the, like,
like,
duration.
You wake
of
up
what's
and there's a
gonna
new
happen.
update, or there's a new expert. Like, this is one of the things I have to say, I've been really impressed and surprised by how many people, like, are actually paying attention to experts now. Because, I mean, we were talking about video games earlier, right? And how the media reports on video games. If you go back and watch some of those news stories on video games, they did not have, like, experts, like psychologists generally. It was like some guy who had an opinion. He was like a
Yes.
politician or something. He's like, well, here's what I think about video games. It's like, who cares what this guy thinks?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
I
this
don't
guy
care what an expert
who's
thinks.
not played a game since Pong is telling us
Yeah,
what he
exactly,
thinks about
yeah.
it. Like, okay, like, that
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't matter, right? And then they'd have some guy who was like an editor for a video game site, and they'd have him on to debate with him. And it's like, neither of these people are really experts in psychology. But, like, now with COVID, like, the people who are being listened to, generally speaking, honestly, like, they've done a good job of getting actual specialists in infectious disease and actual epidemiologists and actual mathematicians to talk about it. So I'm, like, pleasantly surprised on that.
Yeah, exactly, Tater.
Yeah, I think I remember reading an article about, like, what do we think that some of the big cultural shifts are going to be like once we get past this. And, like, one of the things they got brought up was, like, actually trusting experts is going to be a thing again.
Yeah.
Where
Good.
it hasn't. In the age of information, where we feel like we can Google anything and learn anything and know anything at any given second.
Yes,
Like, if that
because
was the pendulum
WebMD
swing.
is so crucial to everyone's
Yeah.
knowledge.
How is the pendulum swing? Where information is everywhere. Anybody can be an expert. You just have to Google it, find a YouTube video, whatever. But now I
Yeah.
do think there is an aspect to this where we might pendulum swing back a little bit, where there's going to be a little bit more trust and, like, holding actual experts, like, in higher regard and taking them more seriously.
Yeah, I would like that very much. At every AI talk, there's always that one tinfoil hat guy who's like, I'm pretty sure, you're creating Skynet here. We're all like, no,
Like, no.
sit down, sir, please.
But yeah, like, as far as we know, Sony did make a statement and said that because of COVID, is it Benji?
Yeah, Benji's back.
Ben's back. That because
What is that?
I think my dad just scared my mom. Yep, I can hear my dad's boots. Sorry. Anyway, okay. Okay. So they did say, because thank you Ray. He finished the rest of it. That they did say that because of COVID, it is not nothing has been delayed for the PS5. But like we said before, that like there are new developments all day. I mean, a few days ago, our leadership was saying that we'd be back up and running by like before Easter, and now they're saying that we're going to keep social distancing until April 30th at least.
Yes. Well, they said another month. And then
Yeah.
I'm under state. That was just announced for us, I think, yesterday, today. But we are under statewide now.
Yes.
Yeah, I did see that for Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, which it needed to be like that this whole time. So, because it's not going to do much good if only a few counties are doing it, not others.
Yeah. Which I think is a good way to go. I mean, because that's how we beat this. You know, like the people who are ill, like obviously, like need to either be staying home or going to the hospital if they need to, but like they shouldn't be going out and playing basketball, or like nobody honestly.
I see so many people like outside, it like bothers me.
Yeah,
and like they're not going to a job, and they're just like walking, and there are people at the park, and I was like what the fuck are you people like?
Well, we're still allowed to go out and exercise, but they're saying you have to stay like 6 feet away from people.
Yeah, because
and people are respecting that. Like people are like I call it like coronavirus chicken. But like when I'm walking, because I'm still getting my steps, because I just take walks around the neighborhood. But like literally, whenever you come across another person, we're like, okay, who's moving? Who's moving off to the left? Who's moving off to the right? And we're like, where everybody knows, like we're not supposed to like be in the same sphere.
It is
but,
1,000%.
Children and dogs always win. I always defer. If there's children, I will move to the street, or like if there's a dog, you know.
So you know how they were saying like don't go to a place that has over like 50 people, and then what they like lowered it to like 25 or whatever.
Now it's 10.
Ontario,
yeah,
Ontario,
now it's 10.
In Canada, back home, it's 5.
There are so many more people than there should be in a store at one time. Like when I go to work, there's at least, not including the employees and the people that do what I do, at least 60 people in the store. And I was like, all right, one, this is overexposure. Secondly, why are we letting this many people in?
That's why I'm like, I don't even want to go to the grocery store and I'm having my stuff delivered, because I'm like, these grocery stores now, like, it's like, I don't know. It feels sketchy going to them.
So back home, where I'm from,
sketchy.
I think it's something, it's over 50%. It might be something like 65% of the cases are from one funeral home.
Like in Newfoundland.
In Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Like everybody went to this funeral home, and like everybody got COVID, and I was like, oh, like and so now like they are really Rory, back me up. Not actually likely. Yes, I would say that that's not actually likely. I agree with Zippy. I don't know how serious Spanish is being, though. I'm not sure if he's trying to actually make an argument.
I mean, he has a thing on Ultron. Like, he was created for a purpose, and then like was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I can do better.
But yeah, like, because they're not saying like you can still go outside and exercise. You know, like take your dog out or like walk with your kids and stuff, but like by no means should parents be letting their kids just go out and go to the playground, you know.
So I was nervous. So like yesterday I had to go pick up Pepe's food. He has a prescription food from the vet. And I was like nervous about it because I was like, I gotta go to a hospital, like this doesn't seem like a good idea. But I was like, he needs his food. Like you were almost out of his food. So I went to the vet. And I drove up to the parking lot. There was a barrier, like, at the parking lot. And I had to check in, like, with people. Like, they kept their distance, but they're like, what are you here for? You know? And I was like, I'm just here to pick up food. And so they, okay, go to that parking spot. Wait right there. Do not get out of your car. I was like, okay. Like, they'll bring it to you, and they'll take your credit card information from you. And I was like, okay. So literally, I just pulled up to the hospital, parked. They didn't even, like, physically take my card. She just, like, wrote down the numbers because they didn't want to have, like, you know, things exchanged. And then they just handed me the food and, like, through the window, and then I left. I was like, it's so crazy now, like, what we do now just to get... I was actually glad that they did it that way because I didn't want to have to interact more than I needed to.
Of course, yeah.
But, like, so I felt a lot safer doing that, but it was just that was just, like, such a bizarre... Like, this is the world we live in.
It's a shock after, like, not having to do something like that.
Yeah, because I know like our local hospitals now, what they've been doing is having like tents outside. And like, yeah, I think what I've heard is that, at least for one of the hospitals that we have here, is that you are not like, there's a point where you cannot go past even at all.
Yeah.
Which is good.
They're not allowing visitors at hospitals at all anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
None of the, I know that nursing homes aren't allowing it either.
Yeah, because what they passed the rule. It was like no family or like immediate family are able to see people in the hospital anymore because like it's
only
that serious.
only healthcare officials.
Yeah.
I actually heard a really bad story. I don't know where it was, but I heard about a man that, I understand he wanted to see his newborn child, but I actually heard a pretty bad story where a father, his wife, was in labor and she gave birth to a baby, and he actually I think he even knew that I don't know if it was COVID exactly that he knew that he did test positive for it, but he actually faked not being sick because he was sick. He knew he was sick and he faked everything so he could go maternity. And I think I actually heard about that he did end up testing positive and infecting a few people. And that was dumb. That was extremely stupid of him.
That's like the person on the plane who like lied and was like, "Oh no, I'm good," and then like after they're in the air, it's like, "Oh yeah, I have it, by the way." Like what?
Mm-hmm. And like, what's that gonna do for everybody now? It's like,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
the man in the hospital has now exposed not just healthcare professionals, like adults. He's put all of those babies in danger and all of their covering mothers. And that's what I was actually going to get at, because like they've completely shut down visitation for nursing homes. And it's like, I mean, my grandmother's not in a nursing home by any means, but like I can't go see my grandma. Am I sad about that? Yeah, I want to go see my grandma. But do I want her to get sick and pass away? No, I do not. And like, it's sad, but we have to adhere to, like people need to do this. And I know that there are people that don't want to because it makes them upset, but it's going to be even more upsetting to have to do this for longer, and then more and more people.
And if they start adding to the problem as opposed to, following the rules and like parameters that we have set to reduce the problem, then it's gonna be like, well, now you're gonna do it longer because you're out here trying to like fuck with everything. And
but yeah, like nobody should be like out like just recreationally, like just playing sports or on the playground. Like go where you need to, like groceries, and then get back home, sanitize. That's what people should be doing. But
I wanted to complain about something.
Okay.
So, there was I'll have to probably take you guys back a few years for when this like thing was, I guess, not really a controversy, but like a big topic of discussion in games. But when like live service games started to be a real thing, like games you'd pay for and then they'd have microtransactions, but there's an understanding that this game is going to be supported for a number of years, right? So the team working on it needs like sort of like the pitch behind this business model was that we need sort of recurrent continuing income, right? Because we're going to be supporting this for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, you do. Yeah. So like games like The Division and stuff like that. It's like, hey, we're putting microtransactions in here, and the idea is like you keep buying them, and we keep getting support. We keep releasing content. Like games that they don't release them, on the first day, and that's the whole game. So Sea of Thieves is a great example of like a live service game that a lot of
like
people
MMOs, kind of like Final Fantasy online.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so it's some people like games that have this business model, and some people don't. Some people would rather just buy the game, and then that's the end of the business relationship you have with the company.
And there may be like DLC or something that you can get later on, or expansion.
Yeah.
But, like,
but yeah, a lot of people like to keep it simple. Yeah, exactly. And there is, however, the awkward case of what happens when those live service games that you spend all those microtransactions on, when they stop. So they stop like providing you with support, which is precisely the case with Dead or Alive 6, which I actually talked about a couple of weeks ago, because it's the one with the 4 season passes, and they're all like $90.
And then that if you like
Also-
lose your character, then you have to like buy all the shit over again. 'cause
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah,
also
exactly.
the one where to buy tickets.
It's
for
EA
$2 to
personified.
change the hair color.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's not even an EA game, but it's the EA like mentality. And like, they just announced that and I want to emphasize the game came out last year. They just announced that their upcoming DLC in April is their last one. And I'm like, oh my god, like how mad would you be like if you were like a big Dead or Alive fan and you spent all those money on your waifus, and then when the time comes, it's like, hey, we're not supporting this
I
anymore.
feel like if you couldn't see it
Ooh.
falling from the beginning, like failing from the beginning, then you deserve to spend all that money and then like have it discontinued in front of you. Like that'd be like someone just like burning it in front of you, and like you can't do anything about it.
Right, yeah. It's so sad. It's like a year of DLC. It's like I would expect a lot more,
For
a
certain
game.
games, yeah. Like
Well,
for certain
so
games, I definitely understand that. Like fighting games and Overwatch, for example.
Hmm.
Or like Siege.
yeah,
yeah.
Siege has been going on since like 2015.
Like honestly, like I was even a little bit disappointed when they did that with Splatoon because I think they stopped around the second year that the game was out. Which like we were disappointed in, but it is also a smaller game for the Nintendo Switch versus like Dead or Alive, for example, is on a few different platforms. But like games like those, like fighting games, and actually I was gonna say Overwatch again because it would be like Overwatch being out for only a year and then us not getting anything anymore from it.
So when you say that, there was actually a case that happened like that. I don't know if any of you know the game Lawbreakers. I think
Yeah.
Rory's heard of it, but yeah, they had a really
Yeah, it's a
tragic
clicky beat
story
game. Yeah, I know the story. Yeah.
because it was like released and then they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna do well, and then like I forget the CEO of the company's name, but like
Cliff
I think it was like
Bleszinski.
that Cliff. Yeah, he
Yeah.
kept saying like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine, we're good, and then like, boom, offline, everything was shut down.
That was a train wreck. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's really, really sad when stuff like that happens too.
So like all those people who bought the game cannot like they don't get anything from it because it's not like there's an offline, there's not even like a LAN version, there's nothing. It's just
it's just disappeared now.
you
Like-
may have just burned for $40 instead of.
Yeah, exactly. Like the thing is with those games, like you have to sort of like everybody has to go in on it. You know what I mean,
Yes.
for it to work, right? Like that's one of the things about League of Legends. Like even though the community is like literally the worst online gaming community in existence, it's like everybody went in on League of Legends, so it worked, right? The free model worked, right? Because people bought skins, and Riot was able to keep
And
afloat.
that's still one of the most popular games on Twitch of all time.
It's still
somehow,
epic.
like
And yeah, like Friday the 13th is a really good example because I mean they didn't stop because they were like, oh, we're done. But there's a lot of issues that I have honestly with the way that they were with Friday the 13th because it wasn't their fault, with what happened. Like they what happened with them is that there was an unfortunate lawsuit that they didn't have control over. But the thing that upsets me about it, like with the people who did Friday the 13th, is that they were actually told if they wanted to get the rest of their content out, which they had a full map, a new JSON, and a bunch of little things that were coming out for the counselors. They actually told them that they could get them out, put them in the game, and then after that, like after it was like June 25th or something like that, all they could do were bug fixes. And the thing that really bothered me about it is that they could have just put those maps, all that stuff in there. Like, even if it was not the best, they could have put those in there and then just fixed them. But they didn't. And I think because of that, like that is like I think a lot of people were pretty upset with the developers after that because of like that they just didn't really care. Like they could have done it quicker, or they could have just put everything in and then fixed them after, but they didn't. And now like I like Friday the 13th. It's a really fun game with friends. But it does kind of suck, like seeing like Dead by Daylight do so well now because they've had the Ash versus Evil Dead content and the Stranger Things content. And they're probably going to get more content sometime soon.
I think Ash from the Evil Dead was actually leaked for the new Mortal Kombat after Spawn.
I've heard about that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But like with all
That's
that stuff,
funny. I got the Stranger Things DLC. That's why I started playing it, because I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to play as Steve or Nancy. Like, I thought that sounded like fun, even though it's
Yeah,
not
and-
totally a game I would like choose to play.
yeah, like it's sad now because like seeing like the Dead by Daylight fandom, like get all this stuff. Like they probably are so happy, and then here's Friday the 13th fixing what was it? Which character was it? Victoria's
Victoria.
butt. That's all they
can do is just fix her butt.
Yeah, and the fandom was like, "Yeah, we finally fixed her diaper butt. Yay!" Versus
That's
here's
how little.
Dead
That's
by-
how little the fandom gets, where they just excited that anything is changing.
And like now here's Dead by Daylight getting new characters and new maps and new killers and all sorts of stuff. So it's frustrating,
I agree with Trev. Virgil and DMC5.
Tekken, they have
that's what-
Negan.
Seriously, Tekken has Negan. I'm so angry about that still. Anyways,
So
sorry.
that's actually a really funny story that I was talking to Rory about. Not to get on a weird
That was today,
a weird
wasn't it?
tangent. Oh, it was
Was that
yesterday.
today or
I think,
yesterday?
wasn't it? It was
Okay, yeah,
yesterday. So funny story about Tekken. I was not into Tekken when Negan was announced.
Negan's from The Walking. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
Negan is a character in The Walking Dead. He's played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He killed the
Yeah.
one dude. Spoiler alert.
He killed a bunch of people.
Spoilers.
Well, the one of the main cast.
Literally, Google image the picture. You'll be like, yeah, this guy kills people.
Yeah.
So it was a really funny story. So like everybody knows like what Tekken is, at least. It's a fighting game, Japanese fighting game. So what a lot of games like that tend to do when they have like a new character, they'll have the silhouette of the character, and then people can speculate like, oh, who's it gonna be? This character had like a collar kind of popped up a little bit. He was a bigger guy. Everybody thought that it was Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza, which would have made great sense.
Yeah.
It's not a fighting game per se, but
It's like a
it's
like
like a
He
bare
fits
knuckle
the
boxing
aspect
type of
and
game.
like
yeah.
Like it's big time like fighting,
theme,
like
yeah.
he uses his fists, like they could have done so many fun things like with Kiryu in Tekken. So everybody thought,
He suits the aesthetic of the game. Really
and
well.
yeah, very much so. Like in terms of like the fighting style in Yakuza, especially in like Yakuza 0, because you could switch between certain fighting styles. Like Brawler was a little bit, I think it was called Brawler, was a little bit slower but really powerful, versus there was another one that was not as powerful but really quick. So like they could have done that like with Kiryu in Tekken, and so everybody thought this character silhouette was Kiryu, and then it ended up being Negan from The Walking Dead.
that must have been
And
a
it
big
doesn't
like
suit
pull
at
the
all
rug
because,
out
like,
from under you. And it's like,
You look
oh,
at
we're
these,
fucked.
characters, so, a lot of like anime kind of inspired characters,
And then you have
there's
this
just-
white dude that like was a
it's just-
baseball
yeah,
bat.
and he's not even like he doesn't even look like an anime character. It's just Jeffrey
It's
Dean
just
Morgan's
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
face, and you're like, what is this? Like,
Oh my god, it's hilarious. And I can remember, like, I was scrolling through my Facebook, and I just saw this reveal trailer, and I was like, I might as well. And I was like, what's Negan doing in a Japanese fighting game? And just there he was with his bloody bat.
and I'm sure that most of the Tekken fans didn't know who he was.
It was
Like,
hilarious.
they're just like, who is this guy? What is this?
Yeah, they're
Well,
like,
like,
who
it's
is
really
this?
funny
Why,
that-
like, who is Negan? What is a Negan? Like, what?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what does
yeah,
that
like,
mean in
yeah.
Japanese?
Yeah.
Well, like, and it's really interesting because, like, say, what game was it that not a lot of people knew about? Was it the fighting game community? Because there's games like that people in Japan don't know anything about. I'm pretty sure we talked about it one
Yeah,
time.
well, there's there's certainly a lot of like American fighting games that like Japanese players don't care about at
Yeah.
all. Like,
But like there are just some games that some Japanese players know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guarantee that a whole bunch of the Japanese players probably don't know much about The Walking Dead.
if you look
They
at
probably
like,
don't know
if
who
you
Negan
look at
is.
gaming demographics like across the world, like the genres that hit it big in America are not necessarily the genres
yeah, the
that hit
same
big
ones
in
that-
Japan.
Oh, like Fallout might have been one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
the name.
I'd wager that in America, FPS is one of the higher ranked ones, and in Japan,
Oh, Call of Duty.
fighting
Hardly
is
any
the
people in
higher
Japan play Call
ranked
of Duty.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That
like
was one.
FPS is like not as big a deal in Japan at all, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just not what they play. Just like they don't play Xbox. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That was another one too. Not a lot of people play Xbox. So yeah, it was
And
interesting.
there are two exclusives, one being Forza.
Because what a lot of people in Japan tend to PlayStation and Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the PlayStation Vita did not do very well over here, but the Vita.
But it was amazing over there. It was like one of their best handhelds.
People still play it, and one of the reasons, because I can remember, like, obviously everybody knows I worked at GameStop. I would have people that would come in, and I'd be like they'd ask for a certain game. I'd be like, do you want that on PS4 or PlayStation 3? And they'd be like, what? They're still making games for the PlayStation 3? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we don't get a lot of them here, but the PlayStation 3 at the time was actually still doing pretty well. For example, they put Persona 5 on both the PS4 and the PS3. Because people were still playing the PS3.
I have a list here. Best
Well,
best
there
selling games.
There were a
go
couple
ahead.
games that were like in that weird transition period, so they had to make both. To like, I guess they used it for
But
testing
Persona
to
5,
like
though?
put it on. Oh yeah,
Right,
but
yeah,
if it's like a
definitely.
game that came out later and it was still released.
Yeah, there were some games that where they make both. So the top 5 games, let's say in Japan for 2019 here are Pokemon Sword based on sales. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Smash Ultimate, Super Mario Maker 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, and some other Mario thing. And in America, it was Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, NBA 2K20, which I'm sure is awful because I played 2K.
Wait, why is
Not done.
NBA on the top 5 list? I didn't
a
know
lot of
that
people
many
want
people
NBA.
played
For the
NBA.
United States. This was
For
for the United
just
States.
the US alone, yeah. Like I played NBA 2K17, it was the worst game experience.
No,
of my
but
whole
still,
life.
like people still play sports games. Like,
Oh, I'm glad you said that, Trev,
Oh,
because
yeah.
number 3, Madden NFL 20. Number 4 is Borderlands 3, and number 5 is Mortal Kombat 11. So like literally, there was no crossover in the top 5. There was no
not
game
a single
that
one.
was on. In fact, I'm looking at the top 10 right now, and there's not a single one. Oh wait, Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, Smash Ultimate actually in the top 10.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate.
Because Smash Ultimate, I guess, is
Yeah,
like a
Smash
worldwide
Ultimate.
phenomenon. Oh boy, Anthem was number 15, Trev. If you want to hear a sad little little statistic right there, number 15 best-selling game in America of 2019 is Anthem, and they're all copies Eric bought.
I don't know why he reinstalled it. He like tweeted it, and I was like, why? I was like, what did they add? They couldn't have changed that much.
Zippy.
But like, it's a very interesting thing, actually, if we would want to get into that. I mean, like, regionalized, like, what different games are really popular. I mean, because I guarantee there's not a lot of people that are playing, like, NBA and Madden, like, say, over in Japan.
I imagine JRPGs are vastly more popular in Japan.
They're very
obviously.
much more popular in Japan. Like, for example, I mean, like, they have, like, cafes based on, like...
Yeah,
dining.
like different games and stuff.
Yeah. One of the very interesting things, actually, this was about Smash Bros. Melee. So when Smash Bros. Melee came out, they were actually a bit at an impasse on if they should actually release 2 characters that were in the game in Melee, also like worldwide, not just in Japan, because the creators of the game actually they weren't really sure what to do, because they're like, should we take out these 2 characters for this worldwide release, because nobody is going to know who these 2 characters are. And the 2 characters were actually Roy and Marth from Fire Emblem.
I
At
only
the
know
time,
that because
Fire Emblem is popular now, especially with the Switch version, because more and more people are starting to get into it because of the Switch version. It's really interesting, because when they actually decided to obviously release the game with all of the characters, they didn't take any out. But when Melee came out worldwide, there were a bunch of people that were like, oh, who the hell are these 2 characters? Who are these guys? And that actually is what got people to look into Fire Emblem. And because of Super Smash Bros. Melee, they actually started localizing more Fire Emblem games. Because
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the thing. Like, you can use that as like a marketing campaign, kind of like low
Exactly,
key
actually.
for like different areas.
That actually helped the creators of Fire Emblem, to be honest, because just by giving permission to put just those two characters in Smash Bros. Melee, and Melee was super popular, so a lot of people played it, and because of that, a lot of people were like, "Who are these characters? I'm going to look into these games." And obviously, Fire Emblem is vastly different from what Smash Bros. Is. It's a grid-based tactical RPG. Yeah, it's actually very interesting that people were wanting to get into Fire Emblem because of that. And now look where Fire Emblem is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, actually.
I do think it's interesting in general how Nintendo Switch as a platform continues to like just draw people into like different franchises and games in a way that probably wouldn't have been possible. Like
Well,
before.
it's so
like
cool to
Fire
me.
Emblem, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's cool to me on the other side. Been Nintendo fans, like, and I've always been fans of Japanese games, are now playing Skyrim because Skyrim
Yeah.
is on the Switch,
Yeah.
or The Witcher. You know?
I think
Like
that's
whoever thought you would play The
another
Witcher
reason.
3 on a
Yeah.
Because like, I think back in the day, Nintendo used to be more family oriented and like stuff
More
you
so,
can do
yeah.
with like parties and stuff like Mario Party, Mario Kart, and all that stuff. And now they're implementing more like single stuff like Witcher and Skyrim, Devil May Cry, and all that. They're adding stuff that isn't necessarily family friendly anymore. And I think that's helping them branch out to be like pulling people in.
It actually is, especially with the fact that, I mean, I'm going to get my Switch out again. The fact that this is it, and you can just take it anywhere that you want.
It's basically like a huge like
More-
Game Boy.
Morgan, have you played it completely, I mean, exclusively handheld, or have you played it like through the TV?
Have you played
yeah,
it
I mean-
docked?
Morgan streams
Play it
through the TV.
Yeah, I mean, because I have
Oh.
to.
Okay, but I mean like off stream.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of playing it every.
Yeah, certain games I actually do like to play on the dock. Like, Breath of the Wild, I actually played quite a bit of that on the dock, just because it was so pretty. Because we have down in my living room, we have a big TV. Well, we have a newer TV now because of the.
Yeah, when John played it, we actually have a film projector, and he played it on this like gigantic projection screen. Like that was, that was a really cool. I didn't play it that way, but watching him play it that way, it was gorgeous. Like it just watched.
That's something I've always wanted to do: is buy like a projector and then use that
Yeah.
instead of like
Oh.
having
and
a
also
TV.
buy a Switch.
No, not that.
Just get an Ultra. But I was like,
that
I
should
was
be
like, I've been
fun.
playing Breath of the Wild handheld, but I'm almost like, should I set up the projector? Just play it.
You have to play any fighting game on a dock. You can't play fighting games with a Joy-Con.
I have played like.
Well, you
just,
could,
like-
but it'd be drastically difficult.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
breathe on a Joy-Con and it'll probably break. Yep, like they're so, and I love my Switch and I play in handheld, but like the Joy-Cons to be honest they're not amazing. Like
No,
Yeah.
they
I'm
are
not
not.
impressed.
Constantly have
Well,
to calibrate them and all this.
What you call it? You're also coming from a position where you own a fight stick, don't you? Like one of those actual.
Yeah, I own an actual stick, so like I'm used to like a sturdy controller because like a fight stick, like that thing like goes through a lot of like really goes through the ringer, right? Like
Yeah.
because there's a lot of hand movement fight stick, and you're like
It's
slamming
intense.
them.
You have to like.
Like your hands also go through the ringer. To be honest, like a lot of like fighting game players, like they have to take breaks because it hurts. Like.
I don't know how yours are still working, Tony, because the reason why I got my mom a Pro controller is because the Joy-Cons on my first Switch really would mess up. Like the reason why I got a Pro controller for me actually also was because when I would play like Mario Kart on stream, because like most of the time I do play in handheld mode. I'll be honest about that. Certain games I will plug it in and I'll play it on the TV. But it's so nice now where I can just pick it up and play it, like when I'm watching TV, like over here or something. So I can do that and play at the same time. But I have to play in TV mode if I want to stream it. And when I would use my old Joy-Cons, if they were a teeny tiny bit less than full charge, they would like completely turn me around on Mario Kart.
That's so
so
odd.
you're-
I'm having that problem when I'm playing a little bit when I'm playing a Breath of the Wild like handheld. I think I just need to like recalibrate. I constantly need to recalibrate it, but like I'll be like at the edge of a cliff and then Link will just walk off the cliff on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, hey, I didn't try to, I've died so many times just because like the the controller just has a mind of its own, and it'll move him. Like,
Oh god, that'd be so infuriating. Because I know Dark Souls is on the Switch, so that'd be so infuriating. Like you had all these souls, and then it was just like, oh, you're walking off the cliff. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You can't. I like. No one plays Dark Souls on the Switch, right? Like I know someone
No,
does.
I've
It's
seen
very
people.
popular,
When I was flying to Talaricon, I saw somebody 2 rows ahead of me on the left playing Dark Souls on the Switch, and I was like, this person's gonna lose their freaking mind.
Did you try to backseat them, Trevor?
On the planet.
Did
Yeah.
you,
No, I
you
silently
need a
judged
hard
them
carry.
though, because like they were doing like all these things wrong, and I was like, oof.
So for me, I should try to see if I can get my Joy-Cons fixed maybe or something for my
The
old
thing
one.
is, I actually wanted to say something about that because I just saw an article that posted that said, I hope you don't need your Switches repaired anytime soon because like they have to shut down, like all the repair areas
Yeah.
are like they're getting shut down because of COVID. So it's like,
yeah, like that sucks. For me actually, because I actually did have issues with my it's always the left Joy-Con that I always notice. But I had an issue with my left Joy-Con starting out. But I actually didn't really fix it because most of the time I was playing in handheld mode, and for me at least, my Joy-Cons didn't act up in handheld mode. They only acted up in TV mode. I didn't really mind at that point, but then I had my Switch for like a few years by the time I started streaming Switch games, and I had to play in TV mode with my Joy-Cons off of the system when I would stream, and that's when I started having issues. So I should have just gotten mine fixed at the time, but that's why I ended up getting a different controller. But that's interesting that you were having in handheld mode, because I never had issues in handheld, only in TV mode. But yeah, that's the one thing. Like, I honestly actually did not. I would not recommend Joy-Cons to people.
I think the
unless you are
Wiimote
only...
did it better. Because like,
Yeah, like,
I've
unless
never had a
you're-
Wiimote problem.
For some reason, like, I haven't had much issues when I just play it with like the one little Joy-Con like on the side. For some reason, when I play with both of them, that's when I start to have the issues. But unless you need the Joy-Cons like to play in handheld mode, that's the only time I would actually recommend them. I'd actually say get like at least a Pro controller or one of the off-brand Power A Pro controllers or something. If you're gonna play in TV mode, that's actually what I would recommend. I don't even recommend the Joy-Cons most of the time now because they just end up breaking. I at first thought maybe it was just from the very first Joy-Cons like coming out, and then my brother had bought yellow Joy-Cons like 2 years I think after the Switch came out, and he was having issues with those, and they were brand new. So I don't know, it gets a bit ridiculous at times.
One last thing wanted to mention is that there was some issues with early releases of Final Fantasy VII.
Yes. So there have been a couple of places or people who have gotten the game completely. I think already worked through most of it, and then have been posting spoilers and shit for like everyone else.
Yeah.
And I've seen 2 opinions on this. I've seen really one side that are like, this is not like, it's not like it's a new game. Like, you know what happens. Like if they were completely redoing it, I could understand. But one argument was, it's a game you've already seen before. Granted, it wasn't in HD and it wasn't like whatever, but you know the storyline. You know what's gonna happen. And then I've seen other people saying like, oh, but I haven't played it or whatever. I was like, yeah, but the game's been out for an X amount of time. Like, you should have heard something or whatever.
Like, I think for me personally, I think that when remakes like this happen, it's a lot of people's first time with it. You know, like,
Yes.
you know, like think about the RE2 remake. Like, I would say more people I know
Played the remake than the original.
for the first time, and that was their like very first like experience. Like sometimes not just with Resident Evil 2, but with Resident Evil. And I think honestly, Final Fantasy VII is one of the games that's like, it's a classic, right? It was great. It was. I remember when I was a kid and I had it on the PC when it came with the 1,000 discs that it came in. Like
insert disc
but,
too. Finish installation.
You know, like a lot of people have never. Oh, hey, Pi, how are you? A lot of people have never touched it. Like the total brand new. Like I would say, like, is there anyone here who's going to be playing Final Fantasy Remake and it's their first melee? Are you
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never played Final
I've
Fantasy. any
played one that
game.
was technically a Final Fantasy VII game, but it wasn't really. It was a PS2 Dirge of Cerberus. That was like a side game. It
And are
focused
either of you
more
guys
on
getting the remake?
for what?
Oh, sorry. What did it do? I didn't even know about this game. It's a side Final Fantasy game that you play.
Yeah, it was like it was kind of like Crisis Core, where it wasn't really part of the main story, but it was like a separate
Advent
side
Children?
story. Well, no, the one I played on PS2 was Dirge of Cerberus,
Okay.
and that focused more on Vincent Valentine, who's the guy who's like the vampire-looking dude.
Yeah. No, I didn't know about those side games. But
Yeah.
Melly, are you going to be getting the remake? And Trev, are you going to be getting Trev? I think you said you might, right? Because it's more like an action game.
Yes. So the only reason I didn't play 7 back in the day, even though I love the characters, was because it was turn-based.
Yeah.
But given that I play in Digimon, and that
that's
is
right.
extremely Persona-like, which is turn-based and whatever. And I don't really mind turn-based now, but I prefer action-style games, as you all know.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of an incentive to get the remake because it's the combat of 15, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Melly, what about you?
Well, yeah, I've always wanted to play a Final Fantasy game, and it just always kind of got pushed down my list for whatever reason. But I probably won't play it right when it releases. But I mean, there's no.
That's the other
have a
thing too.
first-
Like, I don't know if I want to wait till all of it's released, so then I can just play through it and not worry about having to like wait a year or however long between episodes.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I'm having issues. But
Yeah.
not a thing I
100%
can
fair.
do about it for now. I'm really excited to get mine. I'm less worried about the special edition for this one than I was about like Persona 5. So I'll pick it up sometime. Or like hopefully when like a GameStop or somewhere else opens back up again where I can get the special edition. Because I'm gonna be busy with Persona and Animal Crossing.
Well, isn't Final
Morgan's
Fantasy
2020
out
is
at
just
what?
booked, solidly booked for the rest of the year.
It's
I'm still gonna get Final Fantasy and I will play it through, but just I'll that'll probably be less priority for me at least.
it's out in like 10 days, isn't it? Or it comes out on the 10th or something?
It comes out in 10th, yeah.
I think I'm basically booked up until Cyberpunk comes out in September. Like, I think I've got like a full. Like,
That's
'cause I've
so
backlog for the last couple
interesting.
years.
Interestingly enough, I remember when the first like hype came around for Cyberpunk, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, and everyone's like, "What?" I'm like, it's like a must-get game. And like as time's gone on, I've seen more and more of it. I was like, okay, I think I'll get it now. Like,
I think the real big selling point for a lot of people is like, a lot of people like are like Melly, and they're like, I just played The Witcher 3. Is this company making anything else anytime soon? Like, yep, right here. And Night Tater.
and the show did nothing but benefit the
huge
Big
help,
time.
huge
yeah,
help. I'm
help
glad
for
that
Project
was good.
C Red.
I always complain that like, because oftentimes people said it's hard to make good stuff based off video games. I'm like, no, it's probably not. It's just people don't do a good job.
Yes.
Like, you can make a good movie based on a video game. It's just usually they don't. Like they
Like,
usually they
try
decide not to make
try
a
to
good
name
movie.
one good video game movie.
Like
I
now
don't
we
think
can
anyone
do
can.
it. Like,
Well, actually, it's interesting because, like, story video games, they're really long form storytelling, and like movies are just not conducive to
They
that.
made a
So that's-
Street Fighter movie.
So that's
Oh,
why, like,
yeah.
I'm actually really fascinated about a Last of Us series.
Okay, I
coming to
will agree
HBO.
with Detective Pikachu.
I'm pretty excited to see
because because to me it seems like TV shows would be or a miniseries or something would be much more suited
Yeah.
to video game
Well,
adaptations
I've
than
Yes.
movies.
always
Because
Yeah.
movies, you only have that time slot. Like for Monster Hunter, I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do a Monster Hunter movie. Like,
that's what I was kind of worried
Yeah.
about. because
they,
it's-
I wouldn't. I don't have any faith in that at all.
we all need to see that, by the way.
And like,
I mean, we're all gonna see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have no faith.
even just like something like Overwatch, like we kind of, obviously they have the animated shorts or whatever.
Their
but,
cinematics
like,
are really good.
But like, I feel like I don't know, like a movie may not be great for that because there's just so many characters and
But-
so many things. But like,
Exactly.
I mean,
maybe
like-
a TV series would be interesting.
I agree, but I think that about almost everything, to be honest. Like, I think the same thing about books, even more so than I do with video games. Like, they keep adapting books into movies. I'm like, maybe we want to make this like a mini series instead.
See,
like,
the thing is that I bet you, like, if Harry Potter had come out like 5 years ago, what they would have actually been doing with instead of making it into movies was making it into
A
a
series. Yeah, I could totally see doing a Netflix series. But the only problem with that is I don't know if they would have been able to complete it all the way through. Because it's all dependent on views, how many people streamed it, whatever, like how many people paid for it, and like got Netflix just to watch that.
But like
So-
that's the thing. Like I always wish, like, whenever it comes to books, especially books, when I was younger, I would hate actually seeing, because like the Inkheart series, I loved the Inkheart series, and they made it into a movie, and then that was it.
Or you have to do like a Marvel Cinematic Universe type situation where you're committing to like 20 films.
Yes,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like something
which
like
is
that.
difficult because it's
Yeah,
like
which-
it's like, how do you know it's gonna do well? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they didn't even. I doubt that they really intended all the. Like, they
Yeah.
definitely they intended the scope of that very early. But
Yeah,
when like
they
the Hulk
seeded it in
came out,
there.
for
They
instance,
seeded it
they
in
weren't
there
like,
in
oh,
case
this
it
this
worked.
Hulk movie is going to spawn a whole universe. And when they saw the sales numbers, they definitely didn't think the Hulk movie was going to spawn a whole universe.
So yeah, when I heard that they were gonna be like for the Uncharted one, you know, like I don't know, like doing just a 3-hour movie wouldn't be enough for me.
Well, the
And-
thing is with Uncharted, I do think with Uncharted though, like because of the nature of that game, like
That game is
maybe
very
could see it on
cinematic.
HBO. It's very cinematic. Like they have huge action
Yeah.
set pieces. Like it deserves like cinematic treatment if you're gonna
Yes.
transfer it. Unless you have like a HBO Game of Thrones budget, you know, where
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
make it really.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would ever get to that point where they would get that much. It would get that much success where they could have a budget like that.
Now,
So,
especially
yeah.
though for The Last of Us, like there's so much that they could put into it. I mean, because The Last of Us is already such a long game, and they could add a few things also if they really wanted to. I mean, I guess that depends on like how people like. I don't know how gamers would feel about like them adding more things, but like in between like the different seasons, they could add a few more things that are just for the show, for example. But I'm glad that they're doing it because now they don't have to rush things. But I cannot imagine getting from the start of The Last of Us and to the end of The Last of Us in 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's no way I
Yeah.
could
No
have-
way.
Well, I think so. This is going back to how we think series do better with games, because it's like you have like just because they tell you the story in the game, like when you see movie adaptations, they often cut a lot of the like they trim the fat with a lot of it, so they can fit it in
and they
that
have
time
to,
frame.
yeah, I agree.
But like, if you did it episodically, most people don't have the attention span to like watch. Like, say they did a movie for every Final Fantasy, and they were all like interconnected. Like, no one's gonna have the attention span to watch 15 different movies that are 3 hours long.
Or to watch the 10 movies that would be Final Fantasy 13.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a great point. I think it's a
much
compromise,
easier to like pick it up after episodes. Like, oh,
I-
I
yeah.
stopped
Somebody
on
else will
episode
make it.
6. Like, we can
Yeah, that's
continue
true,
this
yeah.
later.
Like, I definitely feel what Morgan's saying about like not being satisfied with a long story that's condensed into 3 hours. I honestly think if you're gonna do like you what you don't want to do when making a video game movie is to try to make the movie that's literally of the video game.
Yes.
You want to do something that's like related enough, but it's like an insular story that like you definitely don't want to just be like, all right, I'm gonna take this video game and I'm gonna cut
Yeah,
out.
you don't want
pages
to copy and paste
whatever.
and then just be like, all right, that's the
Yeah.
movie. It's like, what?
Yep. I mean, like look what they
wanted to
did
see
with The
this,
Witcher.
I
You know,
just-
granted, The Witcher series is based more on the books than they are the games.
yes.
But that's a Netflix series that they did based off of books, and it did very well because it wasn't just one long 3-hour thing. It was segmented.
Look how
Has
good Lord
that
of the
ever,
Rings.
okay, has that
do
ever
it.
happened? I guess maybe Lord of the Rings is the best. This might be an example, but like something that started off as a book that became a video game that became a highly successful TV show. Has that ever been done before?
They haven't
Like,
done the TV
in that
show
order.
yet.
In that
You mean in that
specific
order specifically?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so I was gonna say a few things have done it in a variation of that,
Yeah,
but
specifically going from building
book
like
to video game to like TV show.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Besides The Witcher, I don't. Well, because a lot of games aren't really based on books to begin with. Because like Final
Yeah, so
Fantasy
that's
aren't based
already
on
a
books.
that's already a
Yeah.
rarity
Yeah,
in and of
that's-
itself. So like Witcher is kind of like a miracle in that sense, where
Yeah,
each
it
iteration
covered
of it
all
just
the
continues to
bases.
build. Yeah, kind of like the successes keep building on the previous successes.
It's actually a really good point.
I was
I mean,
gonna
there
say
have been
Star
things
Wars,
that-
but Star Wars came out a hell of a long time ago. I forgot about the,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
original
yeah,
series. I was like,
The,
oh wait.
And for them, it was more like they
Movies,
were really in
books,
between
games.
because it was
All the
was
same.
movie, book,
Book,
movie,
movie,
game,
video
movie,
game.
Yeah.
book, movie.
They're all over the
Game,
place.
TV show, movie, book, yeah, like comic books,
yeah,
merch,
exactly. Keep
porks
going.
everywhere, like
There's-
merchandise.
lunch boxes. Yeah, yeah. Star
I
Wars,
guess
like,
in a way, comics kind of like the MCU and
Yeah.
stuff, because like you had
Yeah.
comics, which are technically because they're comic books, and then you got games out of them. Like they made Iron Man game back
Like-
in the day, and they made Spider-Man
like Marvel
games
versus
back in the
Capcom
day.
games and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I
had
suppose
like
if
And
you
then
really want-
they come out with the MCU, which is like the biggest franchise.
I'm googling this right now. Assassin's Creed was based on a book.
I mean,
There's
I-
probably been
like,
an
maybe, like, a
Assassin's
history
Creed
book.
Hold on.
But,
I literally just googled this. Okay.
Yeah, the Marvel movies aren't the adaptation.
Yeah, they have like
Yeah,
little
it's true.
little bits and pieces of,
Yeah.
and they mix a lot of
Okay.
them.
So it's not really. I guess there was a book called a Slovenian novel called Alamut, published in the early 1900s.
1900. What the fuck?
well, the thing is, like, it with The Witcher as well. That's not. It didn't really actually go in that order. Like it did. Like there were video games based off of books, but the TV show is also just separately based off the books. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Instead of like going like in a line where it went from
Oh,
A to B to C,
Metro
it went from A to
2033.
B and then from A
Oh,
to C.
right.
Yeah,
Metro,
that's actually
Metro are based
Bioshock.
on books.
Oh
yeah.
wait, no, Bioshock's based. I mean, sort of loosely. And right.
BioShock is like loosely based on a
Loosely.
couple different books.
Yeah.
Is like and like likewise Devil May Cry is like very
I actually did
loosely
not know that
associated.
about
Yeah.
like Bioshock. Basically,
BioShock is like a little bit of Atlas Shrugged mixed with like
yeah,
a little bit of
philosophy.
Dostoevsky. And so like yeah, there's like a couple things going into BioShock actually.
You know
These are
what?
all
It was like a very well read game.
You know what
these
was
are all
supposed to
very
do that
loosely based on books.
was Game of Thrones, because I know they were working on the Game of Thrones like a video game because the show got so popular. And they were based
I'm
on
not gonna count
books?
I'm not gonna count the Game of Thrones Telltale game.
No, I meant like they were gonna have like a full RPG Witcher style
Which
game,
I really
and then
enjoyed.
Yeah,
they
that's
like
what I
canceled it, and
Would have been really cool.
that was the
So,
only
I
one
mean,
that I could
like,
think of that
really-
would have followed that same suit of
Huh.
book to show to game.
So all these adaptations, they're really loose adaptations. Like I feel like The Witcher is the only one that's truly based on a book series.
Yeah, I mean,
These are all very loose.
not just like loosely based. Like
Yeah.
They
Geralt
just
of
take
Rivia.
inspiration. I feel it's not really like
Right.
based. It's just like, oh, they had this idea, so we'll take this and use this
Right.
as a
It's
core
not. It's not. They're
concept.
not video game adaptations of the book. It's just loosely inspired by.
Yeah, well, because I mean, video games are like they've definitely been inspired by other mediums, but they have grown up on their own in to a certain extent, like because they started out with like strictly mechanical games, right? That weren't
Yeah.
like narrative in video games is
come
like,
a long way since they
kind of yeah, and it like started late, like having actually in-depth narratives in video games took a long time to get to. Like
Yeah.
when like Kojima was doing like the first like Metal Gear Solid game, like with like a big narrative, like that was unusual at the time. That level of narrative, right? Like in a stealth game like that. That was like a mechanical thing.
I
Or, like-
suppose you could go with The Hobbit. There was a game that was loosely. I mean, I don't know how much of The Hobbit it was like, but there was a Hobbit game that was based off of the Hobbit book. So,
Yeah.
there was.
That's
that.
true,
I mean,
yeah.
About that.
Bloodborne with H.P. Lovecraft kind of loose as well.
Yeah,
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 well,
yeah.
that's-
There's a couple Lovecraftian
that's
games like
more
Soulman,
taking
Bloodcraft,
inspiration from
Bloodborne.
Lovecraft
What
than
that Call
it
of
was
Cthulhu
like
game?
There's some Call of Cthulhu. That's a that's probably more direct.
Yeah, that's more of a
the
direct.
very direct Lovecraftian. Because a lot of things are like Lovecraftian-esque.
Oh, sorry, we just went down this rabbit hole.
We really did. No, it's a good rabbit hole. That's the whole point.
I did tag this stream as mindfulness because that's a new tag, and I was like, "Fuck it." why not?
Mindfulness?
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant, but I was like,
We have
whatever.
been quite mindful tonight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I like to think I try to be mindful every day if I can.
Put it this way: if I'm tagging every stream as educational, then I'm gonna start tagging it as mindfulness.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, like, news is pretty accurate. Like, our tags are like, they're justifiable. Like, if we ever get brought to court on them, I think we could.
Yes.
I think it would hold up.
Because like we have had random people come in and like ask us random questions.
It's true.
So
yeah.
AMA fits, and then like everything else. Like I wouldn't lie to people and be like, "Oh yeah, this is like radio or something." And like,
Yeah, it's a philosophy podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah,
Animal Crossing thing.
I think we're gonna be hopping off around now.
yes.
I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you, Ash, for the
For the
raid.
raid.
We'll
It's
give her another.
great to have you back again. And thank you, everyone, Pi and Tony and Vert and Zippy and Spanish and Tater and Corrupt and countless other people. Eric, of course, is back. He has Anthem installed again for a reason sometime. I guess Eric has a lot of hard drive space to burn.
Eric must be in a really like low place in his life right now. If he's thinking, man, you know what would get me out of this hard time? Anthem.
Quarantine has made the Anthem numbers skyrocket by literally like
100%.
infinite percentage by going from 0 to 1.
Yes.
They're blown away. The game's exceeded expectations for 2020 in every
The
way.
companies are probably sitting there like, wait, someone re-downloaded it? All right, guys, like get to work on this DLC.
There was, for those who don't know, I should mention, is a buddy of mine on Twitch. He has XCOM playthrough.
Oh my gosh.
And he's named most of the characters in the game after his own friends and like people who view her. So there was a Toctopus and stuff like that, like in XCOM. And one of his characters is Dong Wang, who's not named after anybody really in particular. But we started, like, he missed every shot. Like, it would be like 99% chance to hit. He missed every time.
What?
And so we started making up lore behind Dong Wang. And one of the things was, we determined he's the best in the world at everything no one cares about. And we wrote into the lore that he was the #1 top player in Anthem.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks you, and yeah, to Ash for the raid.
Oh,
So
and then
I do want to plug our special guest for next
yeah, I
week.
was just gonna say real quick.
Yeah.
Next week, be excited because we're getting very busy. Often
The very busy.
The very busy. The very
well, very busy with
dad
dad stuff.
Dad stuff.
Often no time for much. A1 Banana, also known as Andrew.
But still
I'm
amazing.
very excited about having him
Yes.
Yeah, he's actually here, as it would turn out. Like, he's been lurking the whole time. And then
I've known him since 2016, 2015. So that's a long time there.
It's a lot of history.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Dong Wang's parents were stormtroopers.
And actually, fun fact, I think the first stream that Andrew started watching that Ash was playing was Uncharted 4. So that's something we
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Well, no,
thank you so much, Corrupt.
yeah,
we
no,
really
I mean,
appreciate
no,
it.
problem. We'll be back at the same time next
Same
week.
time next week, we'll have Andrew.
Oh,
and,
I keep forgetting to make the YouTube command because I'm never on this account.
Yeah.
But yeah, know that all
we're
of
on
our
YouTube. You can type in streamers become human.
all these
and,
podcasts are on YouTube now because
Yeah,
we're
you'll get some
gonna-
other like wacky stuff that isn't us, but you'll find us no
just
problem.
if you see the comical Canadian comment, just ignore them because we don't know who that is and like
Yeah, we have yet to figure out. We've got another mystery to solve here on.
I thought it was Tim at first because like he loves to troll people.
And then after next week, I think, or in the near future, we're gonna have something exciting that we're gonna announce for you guys, or I think it's exciting at least.
Yes.
So
Stay
yeah.
tuned.
we're gonna do a raid. Trev's gonna do a raid,
Yes.
which means he's gonna have to read the DMs we've been sending him.
I did. Yeah, I took.
Oh, he's already done it. Okay.
See, I read when it's important.
So, guys, we're going to be rating Tracy Doll. She's a member of our stream team, True Variety, and she is currently playing Resident Evil 3, which is rather convenient because we've just been talking.
Yes.
Go say hi, drop a Streamers Become Raiders and the kind of like Dark Souls emote if you got it. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern sharp as always.
Well, sharp, but yeah, we start when
Sharp.
we need. Look,
30-ish.
we arrive precisely when we need to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We did pretty awesome today.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so later, guys.
Bye.